Hello, friends. This is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, February 24th, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Monday edition. We're still on information overload. A lot to get to today. Quickly, we got economic news. We got news of a new smart city being developed by Toyota. We got Musk talking about the Singularity. We've got the battle still. It's going back and forth. Can you fire all these government employees? They're suing Musk now, it seems. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over big scam alerts. You got Bernie Sanders out there lying. You got Gavin Newsom out there lying. Those are unofficial scams. We have official scams. I guess those are official scams as well. Other scam alerts to go over. We've got this revolving door at the FDA and the Pfizer, the greatest health regulatory agency ever and the greatest pharmaceutical company ever. So they're the greatest. We would never say anything bad about them. Of course, paid for by Pfizer, right? So they're the greatest. This is the third anniversary of the Russia invasion of Ukraine, totally unprovoked. We have like a 30-minute video from WikiLeaks documenting all the provocation of it, but who cares? We love the mainstream narrative and we won't go away from that. Even though it's easily provably wrong and they're knowing war profiteers, we don't care. We back whatever lie they tell. All that. Oh, the aardvarks are rolling tanks into the West Bank and killing the hell out of people, of course, because it never stopped. It never stopped. Nasrallah had his funeral over there in Beirut. Quite a turnout, actually, for Nasrallah. And, well, we'll show you. I'll show you some of the behavior of our senators over here. You wouldn't know they'd be so invested in what happens halfway around the world, but it seems they are. APAC could have something to do with it. I think there was an APAC conference too as well. We'll have to get to a little bit. The greatest political action committee the world's ever known as well. So we'll praise them until we're blue in the face. And let me get to this day in history, and then we'll bring it. And we have a special guest on the line, Adam Clark, Ruckus, from the Daily Ruckus, from alternatecurrentradio.com. And so he's going to come and co-host with me today. We did not get Scott Armstrong, but he will be back. He will be with us on next Monday, hopefully. That's what is scheduled for now. So we'll have to wait till next Monday to talk to Scott. Okay, on this day in history, February 24th, going back to 1803, the U.S. Supreme Court first ruled a law unconstitutional, Marbury versus Madison. On this day in 1836, remember the Alamo. And I had to let me read this to you here. Remembering the Alamo, the legacy of Travis's victory or death letter. On February 24th, 1836, during the siege of the Alamo, Colonel William Barrett Travis wrote a letter titled Victory or Death, calling for reinforcements and expressing the defenders' resolve to fight to the death against Mexican forces. This letter, written under siege conditions, has become emblematic of Texan and American values of freedom, bravery, and sacrifice. Today, 189 years later, this event is commemorated by many, highlighting the enduring legacy of Travis's plea and the ultimate sacrifice of the Alamo's defenders. On this day in 1839, the steam shovel was patented by William Otis in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In 1863, Arizona became a territory. The Arizona Territory was created. In 1868, the first U.S. parade with floats occurred at Mardi Gras in Mobile, Alabama. In 1868, also, the House of Representatives, the U.S. House of Representatives, votes to impeach President Andrew Johnson. In 1923, mass arrest in the United States of mafia associates occurred on this day. In 1925, thermite explosive was first used to blow up a building. No, they would never use thermite to blow up buildings. They used thermite in 1925. Its first use was to break up an ice jam in Waddington, New York. 1942, we saw the Battle of Los Angeles. The Battle of Los Angeles takes place a series of anti-aircraft engagements over the city in response to a rumored but false Japanese attack. It would last until the morning of the following day. The Battle of Los Angeles, 1942. 1945, Egypt and Syria declare war on Germany. In 1969, on this day, the Supreme Court ruled in Tinker versus Des Moines, protecting students' free speech. The case began when Mary Beth Tinker and others were suspended for wearing black armbands to protest the Vietnam War. The court declared the students did not shed the constitutional rights at the schoolhouse gate. This decision remains a cornerstone of First Amendment rights, empowering young people to express their views. 2 students were expelled from Columbia regarding aardvark protests. I think we'll cover that story. In 1983, a special commission of U.S. Congress releases a report that condemns the practice of Japanese internment during World War II. Little late, I guess, better late than never, for whatever it's worth. They did intern American citizens in World War II, Japanese. Wouldn't happen here. It already did. In 1991, in the Gulf War, U.S.-led forces began Operation Desert Saber, the ground invasion of southern Iraq. In 2008, Fidel Castro, some otherwise known as the bastard father of Justin Trudeau, no, seriously, Fidel Castro retires as the president of Cuba. And in 2022, Russia invades Ukraine unprovoked, even though we have all the cables proving it was 100% provoked and planned. But who cares? It was unprovoked. Putin's bad, obviously. Okay, here is our segue, and then we'll bring on Ruckus, and we'll talk about the Singularity a little bit. Here's something to look forward to in our slavery future of the scientific dictatorship, technocracy run by AI, all for our own good, and it's the greatest thing ever. Toyota Woven City, the futuristic smart city of tomorrow.
What if you could live in a city where everything around you, from your home to your transportation, is seamlessly connected? A place where artificial intelligence, robotics, and green energy work together, creating a smarter, more sustainable way of life. Welcome to Toyota's Woven City, a revolutionary experiment at the base of Mount Fuji designed to shape the cities of the future. But what exactly is Woven City, and how could it change the way we live forever? Woven City isn't just a concept, it's being built right now. Spanning 175 acres, this smart metropolis is being developed by Toyota to serve as a real-world research lab for cutting-edge technology. First announced at CES 2020, Woven City is designed to test, develop, and refine next-generation mobility, AI-powered smart homes, and sustainable energy solutions. Toyota's vision for Woven City goes far beyond self-driving cars. Akio Toyoda, former president of Toyota, envisioned an ever-evolving city, a place where new technologies are continuously tested and integrated into daily life. To bring this ambitious vision to life, Toyota partnered with world-renowned Danish architect Bjarke Ingels. The city is designed to be woven together, hence the name, with different types of streets designated for pedestrians, autonomous vehicles, and mixed-use transportation. Buildings are constructed using sustainably sourced wood and incorporate traditional Japanese craftsmanship with modern technology. The city also relies on hydrogen fuel cells and solar energy, drastically reducing its environmental footprint. In fact, Woven City is Japan's first ever LEED for Communities Platinum certified project. So, who will call Woven City home? Initially, around 100 residents, Toyota employees and their families will be the first to experience life in this futuristic environment. The community will gradually expand to include scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs, all working together to develop the next wave of technological breakthroughs. Eventually, the city is expected to house over 2,000 residents. At Woven City, the future isn't just imagined, it's lived. Here are just a few of the innovations being tested right now. Autonomous vehicles, Toyota's self-driving e-pallet pods will serve as public transport and mobile service hubs. AI-integrated smart homes, AI-powered homes monitor health, adjust climate settings, and automate daily tasks. So, when will people start living in Woven City? Phase 1 construction was completed in early 2025, and the first residents are set to move in by fall 2025. Over the next decade, the city will continue to expand, welcoming researchers, startups, and innovators from around the world. Woven City isn't just an experiment, it's a blueprint for the future. If successful, this model could inspire cities worldwide to adopt AI-driven infrastructure.
That's freaking awesome, huh? Better said that, well, they did say AI monitoring of your health. So yeah, do they harvest your organs? I'm sure you could request that. Better. How you doing there, Ruckus?
Fine, and yourself, Sam? It's a crazy thing. I guess we know where all of Elon's babies are going to live now. Woven City.
Woven City, AI run smart city. What could go wrong?
My favorite part is it'll monitor your health for you. That's great. Fantastic.
You don't got to worry about anything. You don't got to worry about transportation, your health. Basically, it's life on Easy Street, man.
You know, we make fun of these things, but sometimes I wonder if they're really building these for the elite class and we're not allowed to live there. It's like, you know, perhaps it's a big woven city and you ain't in it, I guess.
It's a big woven city and you ain't in it. Do you want to be in it, though? It just...
No, but again, the question is, if it comes down to it, do you
Hunger
not
Game style, right? Hunger Game style.
Yeah.
Woven City, the role of AI, robotics, smart homes, and everyday life. It will run on hydrogen power and renewable energy. Sure.
Everything's still tied around this sustainability idea. I wonder where that comes from. UN, anybody?
The sustainability is totally unsustainable. Okay, that segued with the smart city. Can't wait for it. It's the greatest thing ever. To Musk on AI, he says, we are on the event horizon of the Singularity. What do you think of this?
He's changed his tune, I guess, because I looked this up. I'm like, didn't he talk about this a few years ago? He did. This is one of the things that he was screaming about and warning to society, which is why he wanted to make his brain chip interface device Neuralink. It was so that because, oh, we're all doomed. We're doomed. The singularity is coming. And now he's saying that we're... What does that even mean? That's very vague. And it's at the exact same time, basically, he changed the logo of his pet grok there to like look like a black hole exploding. It's really creepy. Look at that thing. What does that mean, dude? This is nuts. And I saw that movie, Event Horizon. That's a terrible image in my head every time I hear those two words put together.
There's some kind of occult symbolism going on there with this, for sure.
It's creepy.
Elon Musk has stated that humanity is approaching the event horizon of the singularity, a theoretical point where artificial intelligence would surpass human intelligence, leading to significant and unpredictable changes. His comments have sparked a wide range of reactions online, from anticipation to concern, reflecting the diverse views on AI's future impact. Didn't he say that their AI's conjuring up demons or something like that?
Yeah, he said all sorts of terrible things.
Be aware of worshiping the AI god.
Yeah. And then he's like, suddenly he's like, we're moving forward with this. I'm monetizing it. I just released the most powerful AI chat bot available today. Like, okay, hold on a second. It's almost like a problem, reaction, solution kind of thing. Like maybe he's right about the brain chips as a solution. We'll see.
We'll see. Okay.
I ain't gonna get one.
Come on, man. Really?
Well, I mean, only if it's required to gain entry into the Woven City, then I might consider it.
What if they come and paralyze you with a drone and then say, well, we have this brain chip that's going to help you not be paralyzed anymore? Then you would take it, right?
Well, I guess so. I mean, this is Texas. We're armed, but not all of us have the appropriate weaponry to defend against a drone, unfortunately.
I could see them doing that, crippling you, and then that's part of the problem, reaction, solution, right? And they are government. They are government now, too, so. J6er, Green Beret here, retired Master Sergeant Jeremy Brown, who was involved in the January 6th, the worst attack in the history of the world, besides October 7th, is reportedly being released from prison today after 1,243 days of incarceration. And so I don't know if you guys remember this guy. I remember this guy. He was out there. He's a patriotic veteran guy thinking that he's going to do something. And they said he was a big leader of the insurrection. And basically put him in jail and threw away the key. And so, but Jeremy Brown, a decorated veteran, has been released after 1,243 days. So that's good to see. Slowly but surely, it's winding down. Okay, what do we make of Dan Bongino? Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino, and he has a big, quote, conservative show. I don't know, what's the show called? The Dan Bongino Show. He has been appointed to become the deputy director of the FBI by Trump. What do we make of this? Is this guy, and by the way, he said he has admitted that he's miracle injured as well. I don't know if he was going to investigate that. If it was me, I would want to know what the hell happened. You know what I mean? But who knows with these guys? What do you make of this guy? Is he going to make any different? When did the mass arrests of government start? Because they keep throwing out all these different schemes, scams, frauds, and still no one's in trouble. They're actually suing Musk and DOGE. The alleged perpetrators of all these frauds out there, are a lot of them. So nobody's still getting in trouble. They're going after the people exposing it. Is
Yeah,
Dan Bongino going to make a difference?
well, I did notice a couple things. The left mainstream media led with the reporting, just referring to him solely as podcaster Dan Bongino, as if he had not had any experience doing law enforcement before, which he clearly does. But
He's
yes,
a former Secret Service agent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was a cop back in the day as well, but absolutely correct. So it's not like, so it's funny that the
It's not
mainstream
just
media.
a dude with a podcast. He was literally in law enforcement for
So
his career before he became a podcaster. And his show's bigger than theirs. You know what I mean? He has a giant show on Rumble for sure.
The other thing is, Tim Pool, of all people, tweeted out on his X account or posted, whatever it's called, that he's all like, oh, Dan Bongino is a hero. I saw a lot of this hero worship coming out from the conservatives celebrating it. And then to double down on top of that, I saw somebody saying, oh, it was Don Jr., so it was Donald Trump's kid. He said, congratulations to my buddy, Dan Bongino. So I'm like thinking, oh, okay, we've moved out of the DEI, which was a problem because we're supposed to focus on only hiring the right person for the job. And now it's like some sort of bizarre nepotism, hero worship, my buddy system. It's weird.
The good old boys network's back.
Yep.
Awesome. As long as he's not, of some minority. I think he is a minority, actually, but I guess we'll waive that and let him in there. The good old boys network's back. I did see some people saying, well, he's giving up a lucrative, which is true, but let's see what he comes out, how much more money he steals as a deputy director of the FBI, because it seems like you get pretty damn rich being in there in government, especially if you're the deputy director of the FBI. You could cover up all of your crimes, no problem, as we've seen. So we'll see. We shall see, but I'm
I'm still looking for employment, so maybe I should hit them up.
Maybe Border Patrol's hiring. ICE, maybe. You didn't even know this. I didn't know it because it's brand new. Trump appoints Alice Johnson as first pardon czar. So it's a brand new position. I didn't know we even needed such a thing. I thought we're shrinking government. But this woman, Alice Marie Johnson, previously pardoned by Trump, has been appointed as the first pardon czar. Her role involves presenting pardon cases to the president, aiming to support those who have been incarcerated for nonviolent offenses. This announcement was made during Black History Month event. So we missed that last week, but it's now coming out to let us know that, well, here she is. Let's take a look. I don't know if we even need to hear from her. We trust that she knows who to pardon. Pardon Assange, pardon Snowden, all these crypto freedom guys. There's a whole bunch of them. Roger Ver, bunch of other ones. They all need to be pardoned. There's a bunch of people out there that have been persecuted by the federal government that need to be pardoned for sure.
How about like some people who just simply didn't do their taxes the right way or something? I mean, this covers, it should cover a lot of people, but it looks like a bit of a virtue signal move during Black History Month. I hate to say that, but that's a very real problem that needs to be addressed. There are tons of people. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, but like what, you're smoking weed and you're serving prison time.
There's a lot of blacks, man. They threw into jail just for the marijuana that really shouldn't be there. That's Bill Clinton. He smoked it and didn't inhale. So we'll have to look forward to see what old Alice Johnson proposes on her pardon list coming up here, as the new position of pardon czar is established. What do we make of this? It's going to take a month now. They're telling us the task force launched for the U.S. House of Representatives has established a declassification and transparency task force, blah, 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 a whole mouthful of led by James Comer and Anna Paulina Luna to review and potentially declassify related documents related to significant historical events, including the assassination of JFK, RFK, MLK, Epstein case, 9/11, UFOs, and more. So I guess every conspiracy that you thought you wanted to know what the official story was from the government classified documents, and I guess But they say that their first hearing is not going to be till March 26th to even examine the assassination of Kennedy. So are we going to get anything out of this, or just a slow play, limited hangout BS?
Why March 26th? You should check your cult calendar real quick, right? It's probably some special pagan holiday. Is this what we get? This is they prime us on television with like, ooh, the X-Files, like cool Scully and Mulder. I said that wrong, but this is what we get. Comer and Anna Paula Luna. Isn't she like, Aardvark? Isn't she going to be uncomfortable revealing some of the hard truths that involve that part of the world with all of these conspiracies?
That's probably why she's there to help be part of the cover up. I don't get it though. Why don't they just say classified, shut the hell up like they always have? Why even float all this stuff out there? It's a big distraction. It feels like from the real tyranny they're doing right now in real time, potentially. And like you said, it seems like they got their cover up woman already there on the task force. And why does it take a month? Just simply declassify all the documents and let the people have at it. And where's the Epstein list, right? They're floating that last week. Old Pam Bondi, our attorney general, I have the Epstein list on my desk. Well, where the hell is it? Why haven't you even released it? Because they got to do their curating of it. It would appear here now. So I don't have much faith in any of this, but then they're going to turn around and say, this is the official story. No more questioning about this, or you're a conspiracy and you'll be banned, because this is official government story. And we're sticking to it this time.
A government sanctioned absolute truth that cannot be questioned.
I think that's part of it. Part of the reason to do
it's
this.
Like the computer from Star Trek. Gene Roddenberry predicted this. When the people wanted to get an answer for anything, they didn't go to multiple sources and do their research or vet anything. They just said, computer, what is the answer to XYZ? And the computer just spat out an answer, and there was no pause or question. Is that really right? Where did that come from? Nothing. You just assume that everything it's telling you is correct. That's where we're headed.
Thankfully, we have Gronk, and the singularity is upon us, according to Musk. So, hey, we're almost there. So, don't question anything, or the drones will be there shortly. How do they get away with this? I don't know. How do we allow this? FDA and Pfizer. FDA to Pfizer. It is literally the revolving door. Patrizia Cavazzoni, who until recently had been the head of the FDA's drug center, has been appointed as the chief medical officer at Pfizer. Her transition from a regulatory position to a major pharmaceutical company has sparked discussions about the, quote, revolving door between government agencies and industry. You think? Here she is. I mean, so there's no conflict of interest, obviously. She won an award for ethics. No, I made that part up, but but it's just like, and you can see here on this meme the same example. I don't know about this bottom one, but the rest are pretty right on. And I remember back in the day, like 20 years ago, there was a guy that went from FDA to Monsanto. What the heck was his name? Taylor was his last name. And he was like the head of the FDA, goes right to Monsanto. Like, what the hell is going on here? But the same type of behavior with the revolving door. It should be illegal, honestly. How do you work at a government regulatory agency where obviously you're working with the private industry, regardless if it's pharma, whatever, you name the industry, you obviously have a conflict of interest. They're setting policy and regulations for that industry. And then, hey, it goes their way one day. Luckily, somehow, some way, it was what a coincidence it was. And then you decide to get rewarded and get a fat job in private sector.
It's just a coincidence, Sam. You're such a conspiracy theorist. I mean, clearly they have the qualification for the job based on their previous experience working with the industry through the government. It makes perfect sense. Actually, it's the other way around that we need to be far more concerned about when the former executives of these biotech companies are inside the government. Oh, I hope that's not happening right now.
They would never let that happen, Ruckus. They would never let that
Oh,
happen.
good. Maybe they're all hanging out at Woven City together.
It's just quite a sight to behold, right in our face, and just they literally laugh in our face. But yeah, of course, as a regulator, they would never do favors for rewards later. That's beyond their
Especially
ethics.
not if they're gold bars. Oh, that's if you're a Democrat.
Operation in Colony Ridge targets criminals and undocumented immigrants. This is in Texas. It's alleged there's over 76,000 illegal aliens living in this makeshift city, essentially an illegal immigrant city there in Texas. And it's being rumored here now that a joint operation involving the Texas Department of Public Safety troopers and the federal Homeland Security investigations officials are conducting, or was conducted, it's already happened, in Colony Ridge, located outside Houston, Texas. The operation aimed at targeting individuals identified as criminals and undocumented immigrants following long-standing scrutiny from conservative groups. The area, known for its large, rapidly growing community, has been the center of debate regarding immigration policies and enforcement. So they raided that place. ICE ordered to deport unaccompanied migrant children. The Trump administration has initiated a directive through ICE to locate and deport hundreds of thousands of unaccompanied migrant children who entered the United States without their parents. This operation aims to enforce immigration law, but has sparked significant debate over the ethical implications of targeting children, with critics highlighting the potential humanitarian impact on these vulnerable groups. What do you think of that? That seems a bit, I don't know what I think of that yet.
It certainly would not look like a harsh move in the eyes of the Democrats, that's for certain. So, smart move on the Trump admin right there. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. That seems a little heartless just on the face of it. You're like, wait a minute. So where are these kids already? That's the big question. We got to figure that out. And then instead of like, maybe they need help, maybe they've been kidnapped, maybe they're held ransom somewhere, who the hell knows? And then we're just going to like, well, it's not our problem, and throw them on a plane with those scary convicts. Where are they going to send them? To Guantanamo Bay with the rest of them?
Send the kids to Guantanamo. That's a conservative thing to do. Okay, yeah, a lot of them are probably part of these child trafficking networks, I would assume, because they came here unaccompanied. How did it? Yeah, it seems like we need to sort all that out.
It's in reality, there might be a lot of loose definition with what they're considering children. They might consider anybody under
35.
Yeah, there you go. So.
Okay, TSA new policy sparks security debate. I say abolish the TSA. They never caught one terrorist. The Transportation Security Administration has recently updated its policies, allowing migrants to use the CBP1 mobile app to pass through airport security checkpoints. This change has sparked discussion on social media and among some politicians regarding the balance between facilitating travel for migrants and maintaining national security standards. Critics argue that the policy might compromise security, while others point to the need for efficient travel solutions for illegal aliens. So they actually get a better time of it than citizens, because you might be a terrorist.
Okay, if that's what passes as security from the truth, this is proof we don't need the TSA, because this is ridiculous. We're just going to let people pass. Like, oh, no, you can go through. You can go through. It's funny. I saw something similar to that on my X feed earlier today, where it was like a New York subway, and they just opened up the door and let in for free all of the aardvark traditional ones with the things and the hats. You know what I'm talking about. They get a free pass. Come on in. It's okay. Everybody else must pay. Not you guys. You're cool.
Seems fair to me. Are we going to see wrestling moves? Are they jumping off the top ropes to abolish the Department of Education? Trump's nominee, Linda McMahon, for Secretary of Education to head up the federal Department of Education, reportedly supports the president's proposal to abolish the Department of Education. Do you think we'll see an abolishment of the federal Department of Education?
I think this is a worse problem than the biotech people getting into bed with the regulatory. She was the head of the Wrestling Federation, getting involved in politics. I mean, it's all in your face, people. It's all fake.
Oh, with a big elbow off the top ropes to your education. There you go. Trump has reaffirmed again. I think he said it a bunch of times, but he's reaffirmed again today in the meeting with Macron that he does intend to audit Fort Knox along with to look for the gold reserves there, along with Elon Musk. So are they going to find any gold there, or is it just going to be tungsten bricks painted yellow?
It's gonna be a completely AI generated deep fake experience that's it's gonna blow your mind. Highest ratings ever. But whatever it is, it's gonna be quite a spectacular clown show, that's for sure. I can't understand what it ultimately means. I don't know what Trump's move is, but he seemed sincere. I've seen him on camera saying we gotta get in there and see if the gold's there. And I guess that they would want to broadcast it live for transparency's sake, but alas, Elon Musk has said we want to do this because of the ratings. He literally just said he wants to live broadcast it for ratings. What a clown.
I wonder, yeah, craziness. Okay, DOGE. Here's what we said the whole time since they've rolled it out. DOGE will use AI to assess the responses from federal workers who were told to justify their jobs via email. An email was sent out, I think, on Saturday, asking federal employees to list the 5 things they accomplished that week. 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week was the email. And so humans are not going to review the responses. AI is. So we're already well on our way toward AI government. What do you make of this?
Dude, I would bet $1 million Dogecoin that the people who actually submit an answer actually used AI to write the email reply. So it's funny to me that the AI is going to be checking the AI. This is where we're at, everybody. It's like a giant circle.
Subject must put this out like an hour before we came on here live. Matt Walsh says, fire any federal worker who didn't answer the email. Fire any who complained publicly about the email. Fire any who complained privately about the email. Fire any who did anything but cheerfully and promptly answer it with AI. Now, I added that part. And then Musk replied, subject to the discretion of the president, they will be given another chance. Failure to respond a second time will result in termination. And AP tells us they're already suing him. Let's watch this short report from the AP there, who's also very pissed off at Trump right now because he banned him over the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America.
Federal workers are suing Elon Musk over his threat to fire them if they don't explain their accomplishments. The lawsuit is trying to block mass layoffs pursued by Musk and President Donald Trump, including any connected to the email distributed by the Office of Personnel Management on Saturday. The office said employees needed to detail 5 things they did last week by end of day Monday. The complaint called the threat of mass firings one of the most, quote, massive employment frauds in the history of this country. Musk posted on X saying those who would not take the email seriously would, quote, soon be furthering their career elsewhere. Several key US agencies resisted swiftly, including the FBI, the State Department, Homeland Security, and the Pentagon, which instructed their employees not to respond. This latest round of turmoil began when Trump posted on his social media website that he wanted to see Musk get, quote, more aggressive.
I like that the orator of that report was from tech support. You know what I'm saying? They're literally throwing it in our face. So a clear Texan with a deep Southern accent narrating that report from the AP there. They just don't seem to learn. But
Maybe this is one of the roles of the new pardon czar, that if you can look through and pardon the people who lost their job and see if that was fair.
could be potentially. Huffman asked, have you ever seen the WWF promo video from early 90s with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Savage about the Twin Towers? No, I have not seen that. I'll have to look that up.
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't seen it either.
Trump's probationary firings deemed unlawful. Special counsel Hampton Dillinger, whose position was legally protected against dismissal by President Trump, has concluded that the termination of several probationary federal employees by the Trump administration was unlawful. This finding by the Office of Special Counsel has led to a request for the reinstatement of these workers, potentially affecting many more. The Merit Systems Protection Board now has 3 days to decide whether to pause these firings for further review.
So now it's illegal to fire people? This is getting very, very confusing to me. I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't know how this guy special counsel Hampton Dillinger, how all of a sudden he has all this power to be deciding who the government fires and doesn't fire. But it's going to all play out in the courts, it seems.
Oh, then at least it'll get figured out quickly.
Stonewall UK, which is a nonprofit. Stonewall UK faces staff cuts after USAID funding freeze. Stonewall UK is a LGBTQ plus charity that faces potential job cuts after the U.S. government under the Trump administration enacted a freeze on foreign aid through USAID. And so very sad for them. Why the hell are we funding them in the first place? I don't know, but they're the good people with the rainbows and they're always happy. And so maybe we should fund them more. I don't know. It's just bizarre where we fund every ridiculous thing under the sun. So let's cry for them a little bit.
Government's Stonewall UK is good for America.
Government spending on WinZip, a taxpayer's dilemma. A discussion has emerged online about the U.S. federal government's expenditure on software licenses, focusing on the General Services Administration, the GSA, which purchased 37,000 WinZip licenses for its 13,000 employees. This has led to widespread criticism regarding the efficiency of government spending, as many of these licenses are unused. Critics argue that WinZip is outdated, with similar functionalities now integrated into modern operating systems or available for free via alternatives like 7-Zip. The situation has sparked humor and disbelief, with many questioning the government's choice of technology and the rationale behind such expenditures. Some of these, they bought the software license that was never even installed on a machine. So, like, really, what the hell? This is some type of backdoor deal to WinZip, because you buy the software and then you don't even install it on a machine. What the hell is going on here? And you have more licenses than you do even have employees. Like, seriously, what is going on here?
I just want to know, how many shares of WinZip does Nancy Pelosi own? And is it a buy? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
The toilet seats. Remember back in the day, the expensive toilet seats and the hammers and the nails and all of that stuff? This is the modern version of that.
And it's already outdated and obsolete. WinZip is apparently obsolete technology at this point.
Anybody paid for that, and go, here you go, everybody, look at that, it's ridiculous. And I use 7-Zip because it is free and it's fine, it works great.
Yeah, people are making fun of WinZip. Well, somebody made a boatload of money, and they didn't even use the friggin' software license on top of it. So imagine that. Okay, so we're very sad. We mourn. We cry. We're pro-corruption here. So we don't get a strike on YouTube. We're very pro-corruption. But what are we going to do with all these federal workers who may or may not, as they fight for their jobs? I never saw anything like this before. But they're fighting for their jobs back and forth in court, bringing in special counsel, all this. What are we going to do with them all? Well, Glenn Youngkin, the Virginia governor, has voiced his concern about the federal government downsizing and publicly stating there are over 250,000 job openings in nearby Virginia, nearby to Washington, D.C., not to worry about being fired or laid off from the federal government. So that's very good of Glenn Youngkin to reach out his hand and let them know there are many jobs available in Virginia.
I thought Virginia was for lovers, not unemployed losers.
So Glenn Youngkin is a man of the people, helping the government any way he can. They're governor of Virginia. HUD was apparently hacked today or yesterday over the weekend. Government agency TV hacked to play AI video of Trump licking Musk's feet. The long live the real king. It said, let's play this video, 10 seconds of it on HUD televisions. This is, we got a couple different videos, but it was all over the HUD facility playing on the screen. Let's show everybody. Parental discretion advised? I don't know. This is quite disturbing. Long live the real king. I think we have a closer up shot here as well. Let's see. Yeah, here's another better angle. Again, at the Department of Housing and Urban Development this morning. So talk about a rough Monday morning. You got to go into work and see this. Jeez. What?
Yeah, this is how I started my day today. It was all over my X feed, and I was just like, face insert palm face. So I was like, oh my God, what is this? The thing is, I have a pretty valid theory about what's going on here, because I witnessed almost in real time the reaction to that, and the left were celebrating it as if they had done it. They're like, haha, we got him good, that's a good burn, yada yada. And the right were saying, oh, clearly the left, this is a protest and it's probably an inside job since it's at the HUD. I was thinking it's actually the world's first, perhaps, maybe ever false flag meme attack. I think someone on the right did this to make it look like someone on the inside on the left did this, just to keep everybody doing, because the left can't meme. Everybody knows the left can't meme. They didn't do this. They can't troll like that. Only Elon could do something like this.
A false flag, the first false flag meme attack could be.
My spidey sense is tingling, Sam.
May very well be. So what a Monday morning at HUD. Okay, Vivek Ramaswamy, he had a falling out with DOGE. Some say it was because of the H-1B visa controversy that he and Musk got into on the X, and then he started basically down-talking Americans, saying you're stupid. And these engineers from abroad are better than you, essentially, Indians specifically, the kind with the dot, not the feather. So what do you know? Turns out Ramaswamy has launched his Ohio governor bid today. And so what a scammer this guy is. It's already come out. He did pump and dump schemes with his making up a fake cure for diabetes, amongst other scam schemes, but he's a hero. He's very well spoken. You could tell that he got the same oratory training that Obama got. And there's actually a video out there side by side showing as such, essentially proving that they had the same auditory training. He's a very good public speaker. He has good rhetoric, but if you actually peel back just a thin layer of what he's all been about, it turns out a bunch of very suspicious dealings, to say the least. What do you think? Can he win Ohio governor? Now the governor there, I think, is DeWine, and that guy's a real piece of work as well. So it's only uphill from DeWine as far as I'm concerned. But honestly, I don't trust Ramaswamy as far as I could. I can't say his name right. It's Ramaswamy. So.
What do you think? Ramaswamy. I think he's a shoo-in. I think this is an easy win for him, all things considered, under the current administration and the milieu of the society, very pro-tech bro, very technocratic. So I think they're going to eat it up. Ohio is big on the map alongside Texas now, thanks to the Starlink thing. But Ohio is really big about tech and stuff. So I can see this happening totally.
Yeah, I can too, sadly. I can.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm all for it, but I'm commenting that it's probably a likelihood that he's a shoo-in.
I would have to agree with you there. So look for Ramaswamy to be governor of Ohio.
In fact, we'll probably see more. We'll probably see more of these techno bros becoming like governors and mayors across the land. Remember, I said that.
It's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be awesome. Okay, on to the scam alert section, and we have quite a few scam alerts today. Unpaid toll texts, like text message on your phone, a nationwide scam alert, a nationwide scam alert involving fraudulent text messages about unpaid toll fees has been circulating, targeting individuals across various regions. These messages often contain links designed to phish for personal information. Authorities, including the Illinois Tollway, have warned the public against interacting with these texts, emphasizing that they do not send such notifications via text. The scam has notably affected even those who do not drive or live near toll roads, illustrating its indiscriminate reach. So don't reply to text saying you owe toll fees out there. Another big scam here.
Don't reply to anything, especially letters from DOGE asking you to give them $5. No, I'm just kidding. you reply to that, but nothing else.
They said don't reply to the DOGE. What have you? Give us the bullet points on what you've done last week. Don't reply. I saw many saying, I don't know why you wouldn't reply, but
Cash Patel advised them to not reply as well, if I'm not mistaken, which is weird. Weird.
Don't incriminate yourself by what you accomplished last week in the government. Oh man. Okay. Bernie Sanders, scam alert. He did win the 2016 nomination for the Democrats, essentially as the left-wing populist candidate, but he got whatever happened to him. He got weak in the knees, bought out, sold out, threatened by Hillary Clinton, and essentially handed the nomination for Democrat president over to Hillary Clinton, and didn't put up much of a fight, for those that can remember, further back than yesterday. So Bernie Sanders has launched a national tour titled Fighting the Oligarchy, wouldn't you know, looking for donations from labor. And so this guy, let's watch a couple of videos of Bernie Sanders. Sorry, Bernie, but you kind of burned all your credibility there with the whole bowing out to Hillary like a little, like a chump, honestly. Sorry, but you just don't seem genuine anymore, Bernie. Let's watch a couple of videos of his latest campaign. Be sure to give Oh, by the way, he hates the rich, but he is a millionaire, coincidentally enough. Honest, humble civil servant salary, some way, some shape, some form, but eat the rich.
I am once again asking for your financial support. I don't have to tell anybody that we're living in dangerous and unprecedented times. We are fighting now against the oligarchs, Elon Musk and the others, who are essentially running the government, the richest people in the world. We're taking on Trump's movement toward authoritarianism, putting more and more power into his own hands, undermining the Congress, challenging the courts, not knowing what the Constitution is about. We are right now engaged in a major struggle to make sure that the Congress does not pass legislation which gives massive tax breaks to billionaires and then cuts Medicaid, education, and programs that working families desperately need. I am going to be running around this country along with others to rally the American people, to continue the fight for justice, to stand up to Trump and the authoritarianism that we are seeing. To be successful, we're going to need your help. So please, if you can send $27 or anything that you could afford, we'd much appreciate it. Thank you.
There's no way that's real. Tell me that's a scam, right? That's a deep fake. Is that really him? What is happening?
That's really him. $27, wow. And you can help Bernie fight authoritarianism by Trump.
He started it with the line. He said the thing is, I'm once again asking. I'm like, this can't be real. There's no way. Tell me this is a joke. Nuts.
Give your $27 to the commie Bernie, who's been grifting off of government for 50 years.
What's the expression? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, it must be Bernie.
So scam alert there, multi-millionaire Bernie Sanders campaigns for donations to fight the
Why $27, Bernie? Why not 33? Come on, you know you wanted to say 33.
Oh my gosh, here's more Bernie, one more short clip. I know everybody loves Bernie. You got to watch this. It's just Russia, Russia, Russia.
I do not want to hear one Republican come to the floor of the Senate and talk about freedom unless that senator has the guts to call out Trump for the lies that he is telling about Putin and the war in Ukraine. Mr. President, it was Russia that started the war, not Ukraine. It is Putin who is the dictator, not Zelenskyy. This country must not align itself with Putin and authoritarianism. We must fight for democracy all over the world.
Join the movement and give him $27.
I would not give that dude 27 cents, bro. I'm sad that we gave him more than 27 seconds.
So scam alerts, beware. More scam alerts, sir. Turns out Germany just had an election, and they were able to count 50 million votes in under 8 hours using paper ballots. But California can't count. And we have like 41 million people, and certainly not even like 40% of those votes. So what is that? I don't know, 18 million estimated votes here in California. And it takes freaking over 30 days to count our ballots. And so it's a striking comparison. Germany elections and California elections. We're the tech capital of the world, allegedly, but we still can't seem to figure out how to have an efficient election and announce the results within 8 hours like Germany just did, and showed that it's very well possible and doable because they just did it. What do you think of this? Is it possible to announce?
We have a completely different way of doing things out here. That's all, Sam. We like to weed out select the ones that are favorable to our current position at the time, and then run those through the machines a few extra times. We just do things a little bit different here. They say government runs slow, but not as slow as the voting process, apparently. Holy moly. Wild. Maybe DOGE can help us fix the elections. Or, maybe as Trump says, we don't need elections anymore. He's like, I can do a third term, whatever.
Well, just have AI
for your money.
Just have AI vote for you. You'll be fine. Yeah. So what do they say? India 1 day to count the votes, 640 million votes. Germany 8 hours to count 50 million votes. Argentina 6 hours to count 27 million votes. California 4 weeks to count 16 million votes. I was a little bit over there. So we do pride ourselves on efficiency here in California, and that's a segue to the scam alert from California. Gavin Newsom, he has launched this new website. I think he's getting a little bit nervous about all the DOGE activity in the federal government. So Newsom is proactively taking it upon himself to launch accountability.ca.gov. He says, with accountability.ca.gov, Californians can quickly assess how their local government is tracking the homelessness and affordable housing crisis. And so another scam alert as he announces grants to clean up homeless encampments, including $45 million to clean up the 10 freeway in Los Angeles. And so another scam alert here, as this money will be funded through NGOs, nonprofits. And why the hell does it take $45 million to clean up a homeless encampment? It seems a little bit expensive there, even for California.
Transparency is costly. They need to hire a camera crew, a professional camera crew, like the ones that filmed Bernie Sanders with the dolly moving and everything. And just that way everybody can witness the whole event live where they're cleaning it up. It'd be like a Habitat for Humanity. It'd be like the cut scene from every one of your favorite 1980s breaking dancing movie where they want to shut down the community center. But then there's that scene where everybody gets together and cleans up the graffiti and makes it look like a respectable place,
So we do need these scams and virtue signaling PR, and so it may cost $45 million. Here's a list of not just the $45 million for here, but you could see all the different encampment resolution funds going out here, and so quite a bit more. Actually, $118 million here, and it sure does cost a lot to pick up trash from a homeless encampment in California. Well over $100 million.
Why don't they get the undocumented migrant children to do that? I'm just kidding.
Sorry, you can see there at the bottom. 118,710,489.05. No, never mind. Okay.
Right to the penny. It tells you that it includes the cents. That's funny.
That's to be everything counter Trump as he attempts to, he did get rid of pennies. So here's the official website where you can track such things. And I saw people posting, they say, I went to this and searched my county, and you're lying, Gavin Newsom. Big surprise. But here it is. I don't know. Go search it up. I honestly have not searched it up, but it's official. The state of California now cares about efficient use of your tax dollars.
And who's gonna be like when the husband gets home from work after a long hard day and he's like settled in after the kids go to bed? He's like, honey, what do you want to do? You want to watch some Netflix? Let's go to that new website and check out our county. This makes no sense to me.
That's what I do, but that's just me. Okay. Last part about the scams. Gavin Newsom welcomes an audit of California's high-speed rail project. Let's watch this short clip from Gavin Newsom. Very sincere steward of public finances.
As it relates to the issues of audits, I mean, I was commenting when I was with President Trump. We talked about the high-speed rail, and there was some discussion well before the public presentation on high-speed rail last week around audits. I think we've been audited 100 times there. Happy to see another audit. At a certain point, you have audit fatigue. I think at the end of the day, people want outcomes and they want results for their money spent. Audits for audit's sake service no one, just services headlines. What people want is problems solved, and they want to see it. They want to believe it. They don't want to hear it, and they don't want to hear excuses and rhetoric.
Do you have audit fatigue yet?
Oh, I'm exhausted. Ridiculous. At least it sounds like Gavin quit smoking. He must stop going outside, breathing in all the wildfire smoke. His voice sounds better.
Yeah, I don't have audit fatigue yet. So it's going to be interesting to see if we ever do get transparency on the California state government. Okay, let's take our live commercial break. Plug your stuff there, Ruckus.
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course I do. As you mentioned earlier, host a podcast called The Daily Ruckus, which can be found at alternatescurrentradio.com. I have technically 3 new episodes coming out this week, hopefully starting tomorrow, a continuation of the series I've been doing called The 12 Days of Ruckus, but I'm going to split day 12, which is the last part of that series, into 3 separate parts. It's pretty darn epic. I'm making 12 predictions, what I'm calling 12 bummers coming about the very near future. It's very much, the first part is technocratic in nature, so I'm looking to release that tomorrow, and then parts 2 and 3 after that. But yeah, go to alternatecurrentradio.com. You can find out everything you need to about me. I've got links. You can donate and support me via Buy Me the Coffee. You can see other programs that we do up there at ACR, Alternate Current Radio. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And then I'm also, this week, I'm going to be featured in a brand new program put together by Johnny Vedmore. He's doing a new quiz show called Truth Bombs. It's very unique. It's exciting. It's hilarious. And me and my friend Hesher, who owns Alternate Current Radio, were actually contestants on this game show that Johnny Vedmore did. He's going to premiere that on Sunday. So I encourage folks to check that out too.
All right. Awesome. Now the live commercial break from Weaponized News. And I did apply, Ruckus, to let you know, I did apply for the monetization. We have qualified for the first steps of monetization on YouTube. Thank you, everybody out there who has subscribed to Weaponized News YouTube channel and helped us get these hours watched. But now we're on to the second leg of the campaign. We need 1,000 subscribers. So everybody on these other channels, if you would be so kind as to jump over to YouTube, Weaponized News channel, and push the subscription button, it would truly be appreciated. I know we have viewers on BitChute, Rumble, Rockfin, Odyssey, X, Facebook. Jump on over to YouTube. Give us a subscribe. I understand all the issues. Trust me, I do. I've been banned there already once. We just beat back a strike that they saw fit to give us on the day of our meeting these thresholds for the first leg of monetization. So I do know the perils of YouTube, and that's why we're so pro-corruption on the show, because we're on YouTube and don't want to run afoul of community guidelines. So we're at 534 subscribers. We need 1,000 now to reach the second leg. And I did apply for the monetization. So I'm thinking tomorrow we should be up and running. Let me put it on the screen for everybody to see. We did reach this threshold. See, unlocked, right? Start your earning journey. And so now we can have membership, super chats, super stickers, everything super, and hook up a shopping cart there as well. And I did apply and had to do the facial recognition with Google, which is, I don't know. I put my face on video every show, but whatever, dude. They still need to verify it's me. So I'm trying to move up the list of #1 enemy of the state. It's not going so well. They beat me down here, but hopefully in if we keep up our corruption campaign, we can raise our profile on the list of enemy of the state. But you can see right here the second part. So we did fulfill the threshold limitation of 500 subscribers. Now we need 1,000 to reach this next level of monetization, and we need 4,000 hours viewed. We're almost there already, as you can see. Again, thank you to Barry out there in the audience. He's doing the work of, I don't know, an army of producers for us, promoting the show, managing the chats, running our playlist on multiple accounts. And so he's leveraging technology to help us out as an unpaid producer. Truly appreciated, Barry. Thank you. And everybody else who has went to Weaponized News, as we recommend. Go here, scroll to the bottom, and you can see the documentary playlist. There's 12 documentaries there, well over 12 hours worth of free content about the new world order from the Russian and Chinese perspective. We have a BRICS documentary, the multipolar world documentary, the new Russian nuclear doctrine, the new U.S. nuclear doctrine, documentation of the genocide by the aardvarks there from the UN, a special envoy, and a bunch of other news about the new world order in the new era in the multipolar world. And so scroll down to the bottom, get schooled up on these subjects from primary source documents, narrated by Simon, produced by me, researched by Simon, and get schooled up on such geopolitical matters of importance as we go into the new world order as it's being announced now again by your fake news. We announced it, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something. But the fake news is, I saw a Wall Street Journal headline announcing it over the weekend. So I'm glad they finally caught up after a year and a half. But indeed, we are in a new world order. They're saying post-Cold War era. They said that, Blinken said that, I don't know, like 4 years ago or something. So whatever, dude, they're finally catching up. So click play, watch these documentaries, or play, mute, and walk away, and help us get these viewing hours desperately needed to reach the second phase of monetization on the YouTube. Thank you very much for everyone who's helped in our efforts there. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. Okay, on to the economy here now. Apple announces a $500 billion U.S. investment. Apple has committed to investing $500 billion in the United States over the next 4 years. This investment includes the creation of a new AI server manufacturing facility in Houston, and they're going to have undocumented illegal alien children working there for free because Apple does love slave labor. No, I made that part up. Don't strike me, bro. But seriously, back to the news. The real news, they will be building an AI server manufacturing factory in Houston and the establishment of an Apple manufacturing academy in Detroit, Michigan. While this pledge follows a meeting with Trump, much of Apple's investment was already planned, reflecting both corporate strategy and broader economic policies. So Apple is coming back to America. What do you think of that? Will they have suicide nets outside of these factories?
Isn't that the same amount of money that with the Project Stargate? And that's all, they're building a big facility in Plano, Texas, Plano. I don't know how to say that right. But now we've got this coming here in Texas, in Houston too. Texas is the new California. Oh crap, I'm screwed. Oh no. But yeah, it's the new Silicon Valley out here, bro.
Donate to Bernie, bro. Donate to Bernie. You'll be cool.
Fishing for that $27 right now, Sam.
Yeah, that is interesting. The $500 billion number that we see coincide with Stargate investment, allegedly. And then, like you say, building, I think it was actually Foxconn, not Apple, a contractor for Apple parts that does indeed have suicide nets outside of their factories in China because the working conditions are so horrific. People are driven to jumping off of the building because of the conditions there. It's been alleged in many reports, actually, over the years. So I wonder what the working conditions will be at this new Apple facility there in Plano, Texas, and in Houston as well.
How long before they're replaced by robots anyway? It's for their safety, so they don't jump out. They don't need nets. The robots are fine.
There you go. So see, everything is always for our safety. They're looking out for us. Nothing to be concerned about whatsoever. Alibaba to invest more than $52 billion in AI over the next 3 years. So this AI is certainly coming on like a storm with billions of investments all around the world. The Chinese e-commerce giant had said it plans to invest in the sector while announcing its earnings results on last Friday. So, yeah, they're going to invest $42 billion US dollars. Everybody's going AI, man. I don't know what we're going to do.
It doesn't make sense. If all these people manufacturing they produce products for consumers who use money that they usually earn from working a job, but everybody's losing their damn job to AI and robots, how do they expect to keep making money for the cheap crap that they make? I don't understand it. Unless we're moving towards some sort of universal basic income situation where
we're moving towards the singularity, like Musk said. The event horizon, potentially. Neat. It's gonna be rad, dude. It's freaking rad. Okay, so Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, has announced his support for a legislative proposal to eliminate property taxes across the state. This initiative, if enacted, would require a constitutional amendment to the Florida state constitution and potentially lead to a significant overhaul of Florida's tax system. Critics argue that such a move would jeopardize funding for essential local services like police, fire, and schools. A bill to study the feasibility and impacts of the property tax elimination proposal has been filed with the Florida Senate. What do you think of that? It seems like they may very well get rid of property taxes in Florida, but they're going to get you some other tax, is my estimation of this situation.
Social credit score tax. That's what I think. TikTokers, all of those things are like, oh, all that tax money is supposed to go to the fire and the police and the schools. Well, all of those things can swiftly also be replaced by AI and robots and done for much cheaper. So we're just spreading the wealth. We're sharing the wealth with everybody. It's okay. But please remain in your homes and 6 feet apart and wear a mask.
For your own safety, for public safety.
Don't make us deport you to either Guantanamo Bay or Woven City. We're warning you.
U.S. homebuyers age surge. The new median age for U.S. homebuyers is 56 years old, according to National Association of Realtors. That's pretty old to be a home buyer. That's the average age. So pretty much outpriced a large section of the youth out of the home owning market here now, with the average age being, or the median age being 56 years old.
What was it, just like a couple generations ago, everybody could work a decent job with a sustainable living wage and actually afford to buy their own home at like a young age and start a family. The American dream, that used to be a thing. You can research this, folks, if you don't believe me. I don't know what the hell happened. I mean, it's been downhill for quite a while now. It's getting crazy.
Sounds like a conspiracy theory.
It's inflation. Inflation is so bad, actually. True story. I got an email from eBay the other day, and I was so damn confused. I'm like, it says, your discount has arrived. Apparently, there was something that I looked at, because it remembers every time you click on something and look at it. And it says, hey, the last time you viewed this, it was only $24. Now you can get a discount, and it only costs you $29. I'm like, wait a minute. This makes no sense. It's getting bad out there, folks.
That's a deal, man. That's a deal. You need to, do your math better. So, what do you even say that? But the boomers, there's this big meme, I guess you could say, narrative online, where boomers don't give a damn about their children, essentially, the younger generation, and they say, hey, just stop your streaming subscription, stop your Starbucks, and pull up your bootstraps, and you too could make it in America. But they just seem to be overlooking the fact that it's simply not possible here now with the increase in home prices that we've seen steadily rise over the last 10 years, let's say since 2008. I don't know exactly when the starting point is, but it's pissing off the younger generation to hear boomers say just pull up your bootstraps when it's just not. It's a lot worse than that. Okay, moving on. More bad news for the economy. The investment, but good news investment, bad news all AI. Real stuff like Joann fabric stores. Joann Fabrics and Crafts, a real thing where people would go buy fabrics and crafts and actually do stuff in the real world and not on a freaking computer, is they've announced they're closing stores nationwide here now as we shift toward AI apparently running everything. A prominent retailer specializing in fabrics and crafts has declared bankruptcy for a second time within a year, and it's set to close all 800 of its stores across the United States. Joann Fabrics, no more.
One of my predictions already came true. I did an entire episode about, I called it 10 stores closing, and one of them was Joann Fabrics because they had just filed for bankruptcy, and here we are. About a month later, and they're closing. Man, and this, in case you didn't know, this is a real darn shame, and this could be extremely dangerous to public health. Sam, I don't know if you remember this, but back during the thing that happened during the sniffles, this fine establishment offered free patterns and cloth for you to create your own handmade masks to help keep you, your neighbors, and your grandmothers safe. True story. So it's a shame. I don't know what we're going to do the next time around.
AI will take care of us. The closure pending federal court approval signifies the end of an 82-year-old legacy as a hub for DIY and crafting enthusiasts. Yeah, it is going to be sad to see them go. Starbucks cuts 1,100 corporate jobs. And so this is part of maybe the old boomers are right. Pull up your bootstraps and don't get your Starbucks. Starbucks is laying off 1,100 corporate employees worldwide as part of its strategy to streamline operations under the leadership of CEO Brian Nicolo. So that's a 7% decline in its workforce.
These are white-collar jobs. We're not talking about the baristas at the stores. These are corporate jobs, probably being replaced by AI. Just saying, wild.
Probably. Trump proceeds with tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Today, President Trump confirmed that the 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico will proceed as planned, effective March 4th, 2025. So unless some other deal sorts out here, get your maple syrup and burritos before the price goes up 25% on the tariffs coming due, set to start March 4th here. Ruckus?
Nonsense. The best maple syrup actually comes from the state of New Hampshire in the United States. I can attest to that. That's where I was born. They do have good maple syrup. We'll be fine there. However, I think we're totally screwed with the Mexican food thing because nobody does Mexican food like the Mexicans. So sad to say, yep, no mas burritos, as it were.
I think they're still going to negotiate something here. We'll have to see, but I think that Mexico and Canada are going to try something. There's still more negotiations to be had in the next 2 weeks, something like this. We'll have to follow this. U.S. expands sanctions on Iran's oil network. The United States has imposed new sanctions targeting Iran's oil industry, specifically aimed at over 30 individuals, entities, and vessels across several countries, including the United Arab Emirates, India, and China. These sanctions are part of President Trump's maximum pressure campaign targeting those involved in the sale, transportation, and brokering of Iranian petroleum products. So maximum pressure campaign on Iran and its primary earning resource, oil.
Yeah, he's mad at the BRICS country because they came out and said they want a gold-backed currency kind of thing. So the timing of this is interesting.
Trump and Putin in economic talks amidst Ukraine conflict. So we did report last week that indeed Trump has taken the Putin brain chip and he's a Russian again. And so you could expect basically Putin's running America now, according to the Mockingbird media. Trump has announced that he is engaged in serious discussions with, God forbid, Russian President Vladimir Putin. The talks aim to conclude the war with Ukraine and establish significant economic development agreements between the United States and Russia. So what the hell are we going to do here, Ruckus? Putin runs America now again.
Maybe one day. I mean, Zelenskyy could get pissed off enough that America's flip-flopping here, and they might decide to wage war against both Russia and the United States, using our own weapons, of course, assuming they're still there. I mean, some of them did wind up mysteriously in the hands of those Mexican cartels. We don't know how that happened. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of that one day. I doubt it.
They said, we have video of them saying still that we should be pro-war because all that money is getting laundered back to here, essentially to the weapons manufacturers. And so if you're not pro-war profiteering, then you're un-American.
That's right. Corruption in Ukraine is good for America.
There you go.
Just ask, what was that guy's name? They locked up Sam Friedman or whatever.
Sam Bankman-Fried, yeah.
There you go, Bankman-Fried. Thank you.
Surgeon's trial for abuse of 299 begins in France. As we shift into our geopolitical section here, former French surgeon Joël Lee Arthur, I can't pronounce his French name there, but age 74, has begun his trial accused of sexually assaulting 299 individuals, predominantly children, over 3 decades at various medical facilities across France. And so trust your doctor, though. You know, we should never question doctors because they're doctors. But his trial is beginning there in France. The abuse of 299 victims over 30 years. I guess they didn't question their doctor. We're gonna have to follow that horrific abuse case. Okay, the German election here. Germany shifts right, they tell us. Not really, though. Shifts right as exit polls show clear lead for Merz, however you say that, M-E-R-Z. And so they've won there, essentially. They call them right wing, but they're not really right wing. What do you think of this? The CDU triumphs in German elections. AfD gains ground. In the recent German elections, the center, they say it a little better here, center right, CDU and CSU, led by Merz, that's Frederick Merz, secured the majority with approximately 28.5% of the votes, while, of course, they had to throw it in there. Far right, AfD, came in second, significantly increasing its parliamentary presence. The Social Democrats, the good guys, saw a drastic reduction in support, leading to discussions on forming a grand coalition to keep AfD out of power.
The terms like the far right and occasionally the far left, they're just, it's insults. They're just trying to, dog whistles. They're trying to trigger somebody somewhere. They're trying to keep everybody divided, and it's so ridiculous on its face. Because, yeah, if you look at it, like some of these parties are clearly more centric than far right. Like, wait, where's that coming from? It's just to leave you, the viewer, who's casually just scrolling through your feed with the impression that there's some sort of dangerous extremist. Yeah, they're dangerous to your status quo, and that's what you have a problem with, whoever you are, whoever they are, Sam. I would never dare say.
Don't worry, the government wins every election.
The House wins every time.
Here is a CDU leader telling us, breaks his promise less than 24 hours after his election win. None of us want to close the border, he says. Watch this, as they campaigned on closing the border. Shocking, I know.
Niemand von uns spricht über Grenzschließungen. Niemand. Obwohl das im Wahlkampf streckenweise behauptet worden ist. Niemand von uns will die Grenzen schließen.
They shouldn't even let that guy talk. He sounds like freaking one of these World War II German guys. I mean, come on. But I know it's shocking that a politician would lie. We see it there once again. Thank God the government won that election, though, or there would have been chaos. Okay. Here is the war profiteer piece of garbage, Brian Stelter, probably the greatest reporter ever. I don't know, back on CNN, explaining to us how it's a good thing that the U.S. is profiteering off of the Ukrainian war. Let's watch this short clip. How this guy can sleep at night, I don't know, but he did get his job back at CNN, so I guess that's a good thing.
It's pretty obvious what's happening. Some of this, I fear, is about illiteracy on the part of the voters, not knowing, for example, about the spending that's going to Ukraine that's actually funding American technology, right? Funding American manufacturing plants. And by the time you do learn those facts, it's too late.
But I do think, look.
See, it's good to be a war profiteer, Ruckus.
There's no way that one's real. Okay, Bernie Sanders was real. That was deep fake, Stetzer. What is going on? This is pinch me. What a world, man. Crazy. Mr. Egghead.
It's real. And look who else is celebrating we're in the third year here now of killing Ukrainians and Russians. Who else is celebrating such a thing? Well, wouldn't you know, France, the Eiffel Tower. They lit up the Eiffel Tower in Ukrainian colors. Change your social media profile while you can. And so they're glorifying war and saying how great it is. Like, what do you even say to these people? You're out of your mind. And none of them will go fight the war. Okay, they'll just cheer it on and say how great it is and you're bad if you don't support it. But none of these clowns will go fight the war. You can guarantee that.
It's kind of like the people who go to the football games and they paint their faces the color that matches their team, but they don't get out on the field and play themselves, do they? No. It's all sports, all wrestling. War is a spectator sport, Sam. For most.
For many that like to put the virtue signal in their social media profiles, apparently. Man, these people are sick. Russia's envoy to the UN says the United States has seen the real face of Zelenskyy and realizes he is not interested in peace. Let's watch this short clip from the UN.
The hopelessness of Zelenskyy regime recently have become obvious also to the main sponsor of the Kiev junta, the United States. The Republican administration, led by President Trump, finally saw the real face of the expired Ukrainian president and realized that he is not at all interested in having peace in this country because he's clinging to power with everything that he has, is fearful of democratic elections where he has no chance of winning. He's not interested in anything else, and he's ready to sacrifice the entire people of Ukraine and its natural resource in order to hold on to his power. Information starting up to the
Can't we have peace?
The U.S. opposes the draft UN General Assembly resolution condemning Russia's aggression against Ukraine, calling for its withdrawal. The vote saw 93 countries in favor, 18 against, and 65 abstaining. The United States, the Russian Federation, and aardvarks voted against the resolution. an interesting turn of events at the United Nations here now. Continuing here, what has happened? Did my freezing up here? We were going smooth. Okay, continuing. So Macron did meet with Trump. The France Rothschild banker, former Rothschild banker, president of France, allegedly. Let's hear what he had to say here with Trump today regarding Ukraine. Here's a few clips. Here's Trump. Trump saying that it's very close to signing the minerals deal with Ukraine.
It looks like we're getting very close. The deal's being worked on, and we're, I think, getting very close to getting an agreement where we get our money back over a period of time. But it also gives us something where I think it's very beneficial to their economy, to them as a country. But we're in for $350 billion. How we got there, I don't know, but that's a lot of money, a lot of money invested, and we had nothing to show for it. And it was the Biden administration's fault. The Europeans are in for about $100 billion, and they do it in the form of a loan. And the Europeans have been great on this issue. They understood it wasn't fair, and we were able to work something out. But with the Ukrainians, I think I can say that we're very close. Scott's around here someplace, and I think we can say that we're very, hi Scott, I think we're very close. Do you have something to say about it?
More from that meeting. Can Ukraine take back the territories they've lost? That's not an easy thing to do, Trump says. So watch this short clip.
Territories back, can they take it back? What they lost in the past years?
That's not an easy thing to do, is it? Yeah. Right? It's not an easy, just asking whether or not you can take back the land that they lost. And I say that, yeah, perhaps some of it, yeah, I hope so. But that's not an easy thing to do.
Macron on the frozen.
It's going to be something we're talking about.
So we can clearly see here now, Putin is in charge of the White House. You called Zelenskyy a dictator. Would you use the same words regarding Putin? Let's watch this clip where a reporter asked Trump today.
President called Zelenskyy a dictator. Would you use the same words regarding Putin?
I don't use those words lightly. I think that we're going to see how it all works out. Let's see what happens. I think we have a chance of a really good settlement between various countries. And, you're talking about Europe, and you're talking about Ukraine as part of that whole situation. The other side has a lot of support also. So let's see how it all works out. It might work out. Look, you can never make up lives. The one thing you can make up the money, but you can't make up the lives. A lot of lives lost. I think probably a lot more lives than people are talking about. It's been a rough war, but I think we're close to getting it solved.
It's been a rough war, he says. Wow. See, I'm confused because, again, I thought the dude said that he was going to end the whole thing, the whole conflict, in less than 24 hours before he even took office. All he had to do was make a phone call to his buddy, Putin, of course. So he said he would call both of them, get on the phone, and it would be over in 24 hours. Isn't that what he campaigned on? Didn't he say that, or am I crazy? I could be wrong.
No, he said that, and he also said if he would have won, that it would have never happened, as well.
Well, everybody knows that. I mean, duh.
Duh. Everybody knows if he would have won, it would have never happened. Because Putin would have still been running America, obviously. So today does sadly mark the third anniversary of the war in Ukraine, where Russia invaded unprovoked, even though they were highly provoked by NATO, UK, the United States, all your usual suspects. The Anglo-American establishment, you could call them. And so they did indeed invade on this day. And so it's the third anniversary, and bless all those souls who died in essentially a war between cousins. Ukraine and the Russians are essentially cousins. And so it's very sad that it got to this point. Of course, completely provoked by, and we have, but I don't think, in the interest of time, I don't think we'll play it, but I will post the link in our Substack. By the way, all the links, it's a 24-minute here, 24-minute breakdown proving 100% beyond any doubt with the primary source documents from WikiLeaks, from official U.S. cables, from U.S. officials about what led up to the Ukraine war. And so essentially unrefutable documentation. But who cares? Just keep the lie going. It was unprovoked. And who cares if we have a
Russian propaganda? We just got to let everybody know, most likely.
Putin runs WikiLeaks, of course, as well as the United States. Everything I don't like, Putin runs and is the dictator of. But here it is. Well, I'll post it in the links. It's pretty boring and dry. I watched some of it, and they're basically going over, like many of our documentaries are, honestly, but they're just proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, intelligence cables, the primary source. It doesn't get any better source than that, and telling you what all went on to lead up to this Ukraine war. And so it's 100% undeniable proof about what all went on there. So those interested could head over to our Substack, and you can find the link there to the WikiLeaks 24-minute essentially video, just reading cables telling you that, hey, look, this is the internal intelligence communications leading up to the Ukrainian war. 100% proof there, but who cares? It's Putin bad. Sad news here, Ruckus. I know you're sad about it, as am I. Lester Holt, the fake news mockingbird man that we don't know if he's black, white, or Indonesian. He has been called to step down from his NBC nightly news gig of spreading propaganda, lies, and division across America. And so we're very sad to see Mr. Lester Holt go.
Almost as sad as we are about Joy Reid.
Over the weekend, it was announced also by the fake news MSNBC that Joy Reid will no longer be having a program to spread her racism and division across America. So it is very sad. And on the heels of that news from your Mockingbird media, X is launching their new show called 69 X Minutes. It's coming out this Sunday at 4:20 Eastern time. They just announced here on the X. And so we do have big competition here now in the, I don't know if you could call them independent, because they're definitely pushing a narrative there, the new narrative of technocracy at 69 minutes on X.
Now, this definitely can't be real, but actually it could
real.
Be real.
It's real.
I remember, what was it? It was about a month ago where Elon just mysteriously tweeted, I'm thinking of making an X show called 69 Minutes. Is anyone interested? And he got like so many responses. And I thought, he's just trolling you guys because 60 minutes, 69, hello. And then here's the real 69 minutes. And at 4:20, man, Sam, I'm just glad that the grown-ups are back in the room. That's all I got to say.
Here's a trailer for 69 Minutes.
Welcome to 69 X Minutes.
2 days ago, one of our MPs, his 13-year-old son, was abducted from his home.
A program in Guatemala to teach people how to handle someone's ID when they don't look like the gender listed on their ID card.
You want to create, you want to do more things, because you think something and then you see it, and you see it exactly how you thought it, and it's just mind-blowing.
X Minutes, where the news is not spoon-fed, it is served raw.
You can't make this stuff up. Mario Naval, of all people, and that chick, that presenter, is probably an AI virtual creation. This is bizarre. I don't know, man. This can't be real. What a surreal news day, Sam. Wow.
Her apparently it could be all AI, but apparently her name's Erin, the blonde woman there, Erin Milan, and she's over there on the X. What does it say? She's a mom and other less exciting, intense stuff. And she's a media personality out of Sydney, Australia, or possibly a AI fake made up influencer. No, I think she is a real. I think this is a real woman. Honestly, we'll have to watch 69.
Probably a conservative trad wife, right? Clearly,
I guess she appears to be real, but it's hard to tell nowadays. But you could guarantee they're not going to stray too far away from the approved narrative. So that's why you need weaponized news.
What happened to Elon Musk saying you are the media now, and it was supposed to be more gritty, everybody with a cell phone? Now it's like this slick production from one of his top dog blue check mark accounts, who is pretty much famous for just putting BS out there on X. But like, you put up the little red breaking news and no sources, and you got 1 million followers, and he's monetized up the wazoo.
It's cut and paste from cut and paste from AP and Reuters, essentially.
The new media is the same as the old media, everybody. There you have it.
We are the media. That's why, unless you're one of the select few, you're going to be shadow banned and suppressed like we are here. And I'm sure Adam is, and everybody else that is not part of the club, you're going to not ever grow organically on X whatsoever, or any of these other big tech platforms for that matter. Shoot, we've grown more on freaking YouTube than we have on X, just to give you a perspective about the great free speech platform that is X. And we are the media, and we are full of BS, and anything that goes against the narrative out there by the AI tech bros will be suppressed, and you will be essentially banned, shouting into the void. And so we do appreciate their lies there. It's essentially fraud, freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach, as they say. So we're looking forward to 69 minutes at 4:20 on Sundays on X. Okay, what else do we got to wrap up the show here? We have Aardvark news, and I wanted to get to this story. Speaking of the free speech that was on this day in history, about you still have free speech on a college campus. Apparently the court has ruled, the Supreme Court has ruled, but 2 Colombian students, 2 Bernard students expelled for history of modern aardvark class disruptions. And so the expulsion is always an extraordinary measure, but so too is our commitment to respect and include, and the integrity of academic experience. The who is it? The president? No, it was Bernard, which is a school within Colombia. President Laura Rosenberry wrote in a statement about the expulsion of these 2 students, disrupting history of modern aardvarks course there, allegedly. And so
she sounds like somebody who might have changed her last name, just saying.
Or maybe got plastic surgery, just saying.
Hey, now.
That seems to be a trend of nose reductions, it seems to be.
This is popular at these schools. That's all we're saying. It's very popular at the school, campus kids, yeah.
And so they're alleged to be Hamas sympathizers, because that's the throwaway line they use when you can't win the argument, is you just call them Hamas and get rid of them and silence them. They're alleged to be participants in the Gaza Solidarity encampment on campus last April. And now they're disrupting modern history of aardvarks class, allegedly. So they've been expelled from Columbia University. I think you
What's their
could.
disruption, did they say? Or did they just show up in class with like a colored armband on, like those other old protesters? Did the black armband against the Vietnam War?
Several students. They wore their kafifas.
That's clearly disruptive to class. Absolutely. I'm glad we got rid of them.
That's what the disruption was. Several individuals wearing kafifis disrupted the first session of the history of modern aardvarks, and so that was enough. Those are intimidating regalia to be wearing for sure. So that's wear that little handkerchief, sweater, whatever the hell you call it, a scarf, and you're gone, man. So they'll probably be facing lawsuits. But anyway, that happened. So we do honor free speech. Nasrallah's funeral happened yesterday, I guess, or 2 days ago, yesterday in Beirut. And he had quite a turnout there. Here's a video of some of the people turning out there to honor Nasrallah. Quite a few there in Beirut. But we see, and none of our business, turns out Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, big aardvark supporter and AIPAC recipient, he is taunting. He's taunting the Hezbollah apparently here. I don't know why and what it has to do with a Pennsylvania senator, but he says, think of it as a PSA for what happens if you fire thousands of rockets at innocent aardvark civilians for months. The Times of Aardvark Land. On day of Nasrallah's funeral, IDF publishes videos of strike that killed him. Seems like they are looking for a peaceful ceasefire there now, aren't they?
They're just celebrating. It's like a Valentine's Day card. Like, isn't that what you send to funeral? We don't understand their customs, Sam. That's all. How dare us?
They're freaking terrorists, man. They hate them for being aardvarks, and that's enough, okay? Because they clearly hate them for aardvarks. None of this type of behavior that we see coming out of the IDF. And Aardvark Times promoting it.
Published it. That's so crazy. They're like, oh, here's how we took them out. It's a highly precise strike, as you can clearly not see from the video. What the heck?
But
no innocent civilians were harmed at all. We promise. It killed only one person. We're good.
They're dastardly terrorists, and I don't know why they hate aardvarks. I mean, it's a mystery. Well, they're born that way. Actually, they've told us they're born into this whole thing. So even a preemie baby is a terrorist, according to many aardvarks. So Aardvark challenges Syria's new leaders, the new, more peaceful, moderate jihadists who took over Syria, challenges their new leaders with demand for demilitarized zone in the south, as there's alleged ceasefire, but they're still freaking bombing people, killing people. I don't know. It's a crazy ceasefire world over there. They have a different definition of ceasefire than I ever thought it was. But okay, so their aardvarks are continuing the Greater Aardvark Land Project. They're expanding into Syria, expanding into Lebanon, and expanding into the West Bank. Aardvark sent tanks into the West Bank for the first time in decades, alleging that it was this bus attack was terrorists from the West Bank, Hamas, of course. And so now Aardvark sent tanks into the West Bank for first time in 20 years. And so it seems like very ceasefire-ish to me to send tanks in there to the West Bank.
They're mostly peaceful tanks, mostly peaceful. I not confirmed, but I had seen plenty of reports as I was scrolling through the X feed today, in between seeing pictures of Donald Trump sucking on Elon Musk's toes, of course, that somewhere sorry, I lost track of my thought there. It was the toes that did it. The ceasefire, I guess, is not on as it was suggested. You're right about changing definitions. They do that all the time.
Aardvark's UN vote against Ukraine, a diplomatic reciprocity. And so today at the United Nations, Aardvarks voted against a United Nations resolution concerning the conflict in Ukraine, aligning its votes with nations like the United States, Russia, and Hungary. And so a tit for tat there in UN voting, for whatever it's worth, backing the United States. Shockingly, Aardvarks back the United States at UN. So, of course, that's very shocking because the morality of Aardvarks would say they would be against war crimes, but it turns out they're for Russia's war crimes. Shocking, I know. Yeah, so they're killing the hell out of people in Syria, in Lebanon, in the West Bank, in Gaza, but there's a ceasefire, so who are we to report on the killings?
So
what?
All part of the big depopulation agenda, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. They were, yeah. Okay. That's
good for the environment is all I'm saying. You know, all the death and destruction, it's good for the planet. We're less wildfires in California. It's good for America.
Good for America, the war effort, and the contract with Tesla for electric military vehicles. Good for America. All right. That's all we got. You got anything else?
No, no saved rounds for me, my friend.
So we did 2 hours there. Everybody,
actually, real quick, did you see Tulsi Gabbard? She came out and she said what the biggest existential threat facing America is. Can you guess what it is? Tulsi Gabbard.
She's the head of the Director of National Intelligence now. Mm-hmm. The biggest threat against America is terrorism, of course.
Radical Islamic fundamentalism. Absolutely. Yep. Got to be afraid of the same thing that they want us to be afraid of.
Well, the war on terror. The war on terror must be won. Even though you can't defeat an idea, it doesn't matter because it's not meant to be defeated. It's meant to go on forever. And so, of course, the idea of terrorism would be the number one threat because we fund, arm, and train said terrorists and radicalize them as well to attack. And so we know our own enemy the best enemy money can buy, our own radical jihadists. And so, of course, that's the number one threat. We should know best. We set the whole damn thing up.
So she's right on track with the plan. Just trust the plan, everybody.
Keep the never-ending war on terror going, indeed. But we're going to find out when they declassify the classified 9/11 documents and get to the bottom of the whole thing and end the war on terror, right? Right. Because no aardvarks were involved. Okay. Plug again, and then we'll we got it's like an hour. It's old, but I think it's good and it's reminiscent and it gives us a look inside even way back then in the 1992 presidential campaign, and think about the technology, propaganda efforts, so on and so on, that have advanced since 1992. And so we're even in a more high-tech era of lies and deception. And so this documentary called Spin goes all the way back there, shows us some inside behind the scenes. It's composed of 100% unauthorized satellite footage. Spin is a surreal expose on media constructed reality. And that's way back then. And the technology now is, I don't know, 100-fold what it was in 1992. So imagine the construction of reality the media has created in 2025. We now have 69 minutes broadcasting at 4:20. So isn't this so much fun?
Yeah.
plug yourself there again, Ruckus, your shows and on our way out, and then we'll go to the channels and then get to this documentary.
Sure, thanks for having me again. But yeah, you can find my stuff up at alternatecurrentradio.com. The show is called The Daily Ruckus, now in Ruckus Vision, because it's on video, and I do lots of fun, tweaky video things. Definitely, if you're only a listener and you've never watched the video, check it out sometimes. I promise you, you will not regret it. Got a brand new one coming out tomorrow, and then a couple more after that. And then you'll find me in various places, hanging out with my friends and colleagues at Alternate Current Radio. We do the Boiler Room every Thursday night. That's a live program. And occasionally you will find me on Sundays with the one and only Patrick Henningsen for his fantastic weekly omnibus program, The Sunday Wire. You can find all of that at alternatecurrentradio.com. And thanks again, Sam. You also do great work, and I'm happy to be here when I can.
And Monday's on Weaponized News when he can. Yep. So thank you very much.
Totally for it.
Thank you very much for your appearance on today's broadcast. Okay, let's go over to the channels. What do we got on the Odyssey? On the Odyssey, who do we got over there? A few people. Barry holding it down on all the stations for us. Highland. Thank you to everybody for watching on the Odyssey. Let's see. Chatting it up amongst themselves. Very good there. Thank you for tuning in on Odyssey, Rumble. Oh, quite an audience over on the Rumble on this Monday. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in on the Rumble. We have Barry, Karen, Nina, MC. Who else do we got? Quite a chat going there. Denver came into the chat on the Rumble. Let's see. Can we pull anything out? Talking among themselves. Great chat going there. Gunther as well. Thank you guys for the chat on the old Rumble. Seems like quite a chat, actually. And thank you for tuning in on the Rumble channel as well. Let's go to the Rockfin. Wow, the Rockfin's been picking up steam. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden people want to watch on Rockfin. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Rockfin. Who do we got there? We got Barry, Trav, Sean, Greg, Denver, Trav. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Hemp Car, Octo. Am I missing anybody? Quite a chat going there too. D2. Lynn. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Rockfin. Old Barry says, Sam changed hair gel for governor. We appreciate the insults, Barry. We know it's out of love. Okay, what else do we got? The BitChute. People, Barry said he can't see me live streaming on there. I don't know. We've been averaging over 100 views on the BitChute, which is actually like an afterthought until they got the streaming, because it was like very, very wonky platform. It still kind of is, because it limits the amount of data you can upload it, and it's still pretty wonky, but I guess it's free speech. So shout out to BitChute. I did see a thing. I don't know how it works. Let me go there now. They said they're integrating a chat feature. I don't see it. I don't know how it works. So I will have to look into BitChute more, because allegedly, according to BitChute, they do have a live chat feature. So we're going to have to see how we can integrate that. And maybe I'm going to get around to someday doing, I know you can bring in like plugins from Rumble, from all of these, the chats, and put them up here so we could have more interaction. Maybe if I ever get any time, I could try to do that through OBS. I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in on the BitChute. Thank you for tuning in on the Facebook, the YouTube, and the X. There we go. Yeah, feedback on there. I don't want that to happen. Let me go back. Okay. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in on this Monday. Very busy news edition of Weaponized News. Remember to go to your smart cities and get your health advice from AI. It knows best for you, of course. and trust in the event horizon of the Singularity as we all become one with the machines. And so it's a great, bright future for us. Seriously, though, let's hope that they do stop killing people in Russia, Ukraine, and they stop killing people in Aardvark land. I think that I would not hold out hope for that, because it seems that the project for the larger Aardvark land will continue unabated with the 100% support of America. And so it doesn't look like that will be winding down anytime soon. But allegedly, Russia-Ukraine war is winding down, just short of nuclear war. So we're going to have to pray for peace there, and also in Aardvark land. It would help if they would stop killing people there, but it doesn't look very likely, as we're living through the ceasefire that wasn't. So as always, everybody, do your own research. Peace, love, and liberty. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Monday evening. Again, thank you to Ruckus for his time, effort, and energy, and his presence on this Monday edition of Weaponized News. Here is Spin to play us out. Again, 47 minutes, I think, very well done documentary back in the day. And think of what they tell us, what you can see, what happened way back then, and then think of where we are today, to put it in that perspective, because they exposed a lot way back then. Imagine what it's like today. You know what I'm saying? And so great old footage here. Spin. And then who was the producer of this? By Brian Springer. Brian Springer. Spin. And we'll see you back here tomorrow on Weaponized News.
So to speak.
1992 was a year of kings. There was the LAPD beating of Rodney King, videotaped from an apartment balcony, and the hovering coverage of TV cameras and helicopters circling the city as the public rebelled. It was nearly 25 years after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, and Bill Clinton, a child of the 60s, was campaigning to become commander-in-chief, a king among the contenders.
Hold on just a minute. Here's Larry King. Hello?
Then there was Larry King, who was anointed as the father of talk show democracy because TV viewers could phone his program and ask the candidates questions on the air. The viewer calls to King's show was seen as a seed of a future TV democracy, in which citizens could vote for a candidate or pending legislation by picking up a special remote control and voting yes or no. Taking viewer calls on Larry King's show is TV evangelist Pat Robertson, whose organization, the Christian Coalition, seeks working control of the Republican Party by 1996.
I'd like to ask Mr. Robertson two quick questions. One, what he thought about the Bush quail commercials. Were they effective? Should they have had more family values on them? Also, how can you say you want a party of inclusion when you're so blatantly anti-gay?
Behind the scenes and off the air, Robertson's media advisor tells Robertson how to turn around or spin the caller's question.
You take the one sentence, turn it around, completely another issue. Remember, you're answering the questions, and you can talk about anything you want to.
Well, I am moved. I want a kinder and gentler nation.
This Bush campaign phrase was written by spin doctor and speechwriter Peggy Noonan.
Because America is so infused by media that we are all spinning in a way.
We're embellishing our story.
Embellishment is okay. There's
what's not okay. Where does spin begin?
The disingenuous part, the calculating, this isn't the whole truth part.
If he tries to corner you on Buchanan, do the same thing, slide off it. Go back to the inclusion. You gotta expand the party, and you gotta bring everybody together. You can't worry about the problems of 1992. You gotta look ahead to 96. Focus on the future.
so to speak.
Anyone with a home satellite TV system, like the ones you see in bars or in people's yards, could have picked up Robertson and his spin doctor chatting off-air. Dish owners are able to receive two types of TV. One is the regular TV programming you normally see on cable or the broadcast networks.
Is that Helmstead still the next one?
The other type of TV is the satellite feed, in this case the feed of George Bush and Larry King chatting during a commercial break.
Kind of weird being seen around the world. Technology.
It's amazing. I think Saddam Hussein is watching this very much.
Satellite feeds are used by the networks to transmit images of news events from around the world. An event covered by the network is transmitted up into space to a satellite. The satellite receives and retransmits the image of the event back down to Earth to the network's headquarters, where the video image is edited and contextualized as television. The home satellite dish owner can watch regular TV, or they can tune in the satellite feed and see the event before it has been packaged by the networks as television. In 1992, I bought a couple of satellite dishes and spent the entire year flipping through the channels looking for feeds. I'd lock onto a satellite and go channel by channel through its transmission, recording the feeds. Then I would move on to the next satellite, and the next one, and the next one. By the end of the year, I'd recorded more than 500 hours of feeds.
Don't put a lot of that garbage on it. What is this? Are we on the national... Can we turn that on? I don't want to be on national television being made up.
We're just turning the camera away from you, so you can be made up.
Some of the feed guests knew, and some didn't know, their images were being broadcast, unscrambled and visible, to over 3.5 million dish owners across North America. Those who knew they were being watched attempted to stay out of satellite TV's wide frame. But after spending hours a day inside of a television studio, television had become their home.
So to speak.
PC.
So to speak.
1991 and 92 had been years of political extremes for George Bush. After the Gulf War in 1991, he had the highest approval rating of any president in modern history. But as the U.S. economy fell, so did Bush's ratings and his health. He and the First Lady Barbara Bush developed a thyroid condition known as Graves' disease. As Bush's ratings fell further, he decided to appear on Larry King's show. His appearance marked the first time a U.S. president had been on a call-in talk show in over 15 years.
You feeling well, by the way?
Yeah.
Are you feeling well?
You're good. Lucky. Running still and played tennis yesterday.
What is that disease you had?
Crohn's, no, not Crohn's, just thyroid. I don't know what it's got in it.
What are they drug treated, right?
They could take a drug every single morning, little blue thing, Synthroid or something. And it wasn't hard. It's what the thyroid does to make your heart fibrillate. It's been very good.
Now, I took Halcyon for a long time after my heart surgery.
Are you often at it? I don't know that it's bad. Like
It's the best sleeping pill in the world, but not daily.
No, oh no.
Okay.
Now it's gotten such a bad rap.
Halcyon had gotten such a bad rap that its product license in Britain was provisionally withdrawn. Some users of the drug complained of amnesia, anxiety, delusions, and hostility. When Bush started the election year, he was taking a sedative during a visit to Japan when he fainted and threw up on the Japanese Prime Minister. For Bush, the image of the event could have been devastating. News stories of Jimmy Carter's fainting created a symbol of a failed president. It haunted Carter throughout his campaign and helped Ronald Reagan reach the White House. The first minute of Bush's fainting episode and the reaction of the frightened dinner guest was not released by the networks and is not seen here. Only this footage after the initial fainting was made public. Newsweek magazine published a story about the event with photographs from the censored Bush fainting episode, but the photographs obscured the view of the president's face. All traces of Bush's nauseating performance would be cleaned up by the White House television crew. Even this mantle photo of Bush's face next to a white baby's blanket may have looked too much like his face in Barbara's white napkin in Japan.
Looks like the one it's very similar to the Japan.
You want to take one of Anna? You got it. Do whatever you need to do.
So to speak.
You see, forward.
So to speak.
You see, forward.
This is the White House television studio, the satellite TV hub, which the president used to make news. From the White House studio, Bush would go up on a satellite, give a 5-minute interview with a local news anchor, disconnect, hook up with another local news anchor, give an interview, disconnect, hook up with another one, and do this again and again and again. This type of satellite whistle-stop campaigning is called the satellite tour. This is a technician at the White House hooking up with TV stations in South Carolina and Florida for a satellite tour by Barbara Bush.
Channel 4, do you read us in Washington? WYFF. Come in, come in.
Remember that every single man, woman, and child in the state of South Carolina awakens to a freer, safer world because of George Bush.
WIS, do you hear us in Washington?
I would remind people that every single morning we all awaken to a safer, freer world because of George Bush.
WCBD, do you hear us in Washington?
And Nicole, I would remind you and the people of Florence that all of us awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush.
WCSC, do you read us in Washington?
They themselves awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush.
Campaigning via the satellite tour allowed the candidates to cover long distances. But there was another major benefit. They could bypass the national TV networks. There was no need to feed through the TV network center and on to the local stations. The campaign was now the center and its own television network.
This is great. I love these. Can we do any more? We do some Maryland. We do those two Maryland. Gotta do some more in Florida and Texas. Have we done all of Colorado today?
Yeah, we've got one more
Today.
Another way the candidates made news was by creating their own TV news stories called the video news release. The video news release was given free of charge to local TV stations. Sent via satellite by the candidate, the video news release consisted of a campaign-produced TV news segment, complete with intro text for the local TV anchor to read, and a news story edited by the campaign.
I feel I have the experience and leadership to take America in new directions.
One new direction, Job Training 2000. Mr. Bush's plan to retrain blue-collar workers and the unemployed for new job opportunities. The country's 11 largest business organizations endorsed.
Nearly all the major candidates placed a video news release on local television, and nearly half the local TV stations which aired the releases didn't report that they had been produced by the candidate. For instance, this story's reporter, Michael Caputo, wouldn't be identified as working for the Bush campaign.
Primaries March 17th. In Washington, this is Michael Caputo reporting.
The campaigns had to pay out of their own pockets to produce the satellite media tours and video news releases. But their best and cheapest way of making news was through the TV talk shows. And the candidate's talk show of choice was CNN's Larry King Live, which made the front page of the New York Times 57 times during the election year.
Before Al Gore was famous, Tammy, on his book tour, he drove over to Mutual Network all by himself, came up in that great Crystal City elevator.
I still remember the day I became famous.
Yeah.
When your column in USA Today came out.
On that thing, on that book. I always remember the card you sent me.
For the networks, making news meant making profits, as the candidates made nearly 100 talk show appearances.
Tell Bill if he'd do that thing in New York, it'd be terrific. He's so good at this. Clinton.
Yeah.
One of the problems with staying on the bus too long is the two of you guys are so good on media.
Towards the end of the election, candidate appearances increased TV talk show ratings an average of 40%.
You know what you ought to do? You ought to come out on the bus trip with us one day. We could do a joint interview from the bus.
Larry King said the campaign ratings bonanza turned the election into a TV miniseries like Roots or The Thornbirds.
We're out of time. You can invite us on the bus.
Okay.
We have plumb run out of time. Thanks for coming, Al.
I'd like to invite you to come on the bus with us.
1992 was probably an historic first, as a major network's advertising revenues from its political coverage made more money than it cost to report the campaign. For CNN, the election was a watershed, as the network received its highest ratings since the Gulf War.
But I want him to finish the thought here. That's the one break we have to hit live. It's an around the world break. Hard to believe we're being watched in 151 countries. It's scary. I'm in Israel. I'm at the Wailing Wall. True story. Israel. Never been there before. There with my brother. I'm Jewish. It's my culture. I'm standing there as an old rabbi, davening. He's praying. He's an old, religious Jewish man. He looks up at me and he says, "What's with Perot?" I swear to God, what's with Perot? In Israel.
I love it.
It's crazy. Ted Turner changed the world. I'm a big fan of yours.
Is it?
He would serve you if you have to. You know what I mean? I'm really surprised. He's ready. What's he got left in life to gain? After you're elected, think about it. No dope.
That's for sure.
Great guy to work for, too.
So to speak.
You see, fall.
So to speak.
Get on.
You see, you're fall.
So to speak.
Amid continuing allegations of tabloid reports pointing to extramarital affairs, Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton is this noon campaigning across the South.
Hello, Mike. Everybody in America who's had problems in their marriage, who either wound up divorced or who got back together, votes for me. I'm a shoo-in. Can you hear me? I figure if everybody in Maryland who's ever had trouble in their marriage and they're still together, or who's ever been divorced votes for me, I'm a shoo-in. Hello? And you know, if every American couple who's either been divorced or had problems and stayed married votes for me, I'm a shoo-in for re-election. I think the American people are smarter than the pundits.
Before Clinton was shooed into office, he had to compete against a host of other Democratic candidates. The media focused on 4 of these candidates, but Larry Agron was a 5th candidate the press did not report on.
There's no makeup here?
During the 1992 U.S. Conference of Mayors, the New York Times reported that, quote, dozens of mayors seem to agree on one thing. The single candidate who truly understands urban needs is Larry Agron, unquote.
They promised to bring this stuff over.
None of the networks mentioned Agron's presence at the convention.
How about if I run over that Super Saver?
One of Agron's staff had to run over to the Super Saver and buy some makeup because the network had broken its promise to provide it. This was typical of the media's treatment of Agron. When he appeared at this Democratic Candidates Forum, this Associated Press photo simply cropped Agron out of the frame. During the New Hampshire primary, the TV news reported the polling numbers of the top 5 Democratic candidates: Brown, Clinton, Harkin, Kerry, and Tsongas. When Agron moved into a 3-way tie with Harkin and Brown with 2% of the vote, most of the TV news didn't mention Agron. The day Bill Clinton captured what may have been the most valuable airtime of the entire election, as he spoke to 50 million viewers about his alleged affair, was the same day that a poll showed Agron's support at 4%. He had passed Brown and was the 5th leading candidate. When ABC's Sunday Evening News reported this poll, they simply deleted Agron entirely by not reporting his candidacy. During the New Hampshire primary, Agron's only live commercial TV appearance was through this satellite feed to ABC's Nightline. But the Nightline program wasn't directly about the election. When Agron complained to news executives about his lack of coverage, he was told he had not earned the right to media exposure because he had not received enough media exposure.
And on stage, the 5 major contenders for the Democratic presidential nomination.
Although Agron was on the ballot in nearly half the country, he was barred from most televised debates, including this one sponsored by the League of Women Voters. He couldn't meet one of the League's main criteria, which was, quote, recognition by the national media as a candidate meriting media attention, unquote.
Good evening and welcome to the Democratic presidential candidates debate on urban America.
Agron wanted to debate on urban America, calling for a 50% cut in defense spending and the reinvestment of some of that money into America's decaying cities.
We are going to be coming to you, live from Lehman College, and you'll hear a bit of a disturbance in the background, but we'll go on with that in any case.
The disturbance is Larry Agron, asking to be included in the debate so that he can explain his plans for defense cuts and urban revitalization.
Transfer of President Ferdinand Ferrer, and Mr. President, I suggest you wait for just a moment till the man is quieted or chooses to quiet down. All right, Mr. Ferrer.
Agron was quickly arrested. His court date fell on the first day of the Democratic National Convention.
During this campaign, but very little said about the problems facing America's cities. Tonight, we'll change all that.
Without media exposure and the debates, Agron couldn't quickly receive federal campaign funds, and his candidacy lost momentum.
You look all right on camera.
What's that?
You look all right. There's no hot spots.
Really? Okay. Well, usually I got a mustache that shows through here.
Okay,
why don't you go get some stuff, Mike?
I am going to go.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Campaign funds.
The Democratic Party refused to include Agron in the debates or speak to the networks on his behalf. Agron talked about his exclusion, saying, I've challenged my own party for its continuing complicity in Cold War thinking, Cold War rhetoric, and Cold War budgets.
To restore order right now, there are 3,000 National Guardsmen on duty in the city of Los Angeles. Another 2,200 stand ready to provide immediate support.
So to speak.
You see?
On.
You see? You're
Forward.
Oh, what a beautiful morning.
In 1992, the networks had their own solutions for urban decay.
This morning we're here looking for solutions.
CBS looked for solutions at LA's Martin Luther King Hospital.
Well, a hospital like Martin Luther King can see more trauma than all of Western Europe does in a year. In fact, there's so much trauma there that the U.S. Army sends its combat surgeons there so they get a sense of what these very severe wounds were like. In fact, when I was in the Gulf War, a number of the senior combat surgeons had trained right here at Martin Luther King Hospital.
Dr. Bob, thanks.
Before he went on air, part of Dr. Bob's diagnosis was cut out because it was too obtuse.
Yeah, so what's your impression? Because my impression is, places like South Central LA, around the country, look more and more like real third world countries, or third world countries without the hope. That is, they had no medical care, they had no real economy, and yet in a third world country, it's developing. There's some onward development, there's some vision for the future.
Well, your impressions of the medical care, are you talking about? I think that gets too obtuse. How about if I were to ask about the level of the trauma care here has always been considered superior, has it not, to other parts of the country?
Cook. Yeah, 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's the best,
Why don't
gunshot.
I say something like that?
Okay.
As the conditions of the cities became obtuse to the networks, they turned to the suburbs to render a verdict on the campaign.
And later, Eye on the Campaign, you will see and hear some of the suburban voters who may very well decide this election. Back now live from St. Louis. There is news far beyond this city tonight. In, what is this, in Hawaii? In Haiti. Oh, well, they all look alike. In Haiti, a huge explosion leveled a three-story building in downtown Port-au-Prince. At least 15 Haitians were killed. Take a look at the roads leading into and out of Los Angeles. Lately, you see more taillights than headlights. A lot of people leaving this town for good. Where are they going? Anywhere else. Why?
While the ethnically diverse cities were abandoned for the homogeneous suburbs, the networks created their own recipes for the melting pot.
Make a note. Give it to Kathy, who may be the best at this. Since we're going to wish people a happy Rosh Hashanah, which is my idea and a good idea, just don't forget to check when Ramadan is. We have to wish all of our Muslim friends happy Ramadan. And then behind that, when you get to the Buddhist New Year, the year of the rat or the year of the monkey, whatever it is, we have to... got to be politically correct here, pal.
After 4 Los Angeles police officers were found not guilty of assaulting Rodney King, the TV news moved away from the residents of L.A. and into the sky with 13 television-equipped helicopters.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. I'm sorry, we're still hung up in our court here. No justice. They're just marching up and down the streets, and they formed a big bulkhead here at the end of at the corner.
The distant coverage in the sky was emulated on the ground by the scarce street reporters who tried to glide by without speaking to the protesters of the verdict.
With the chants, no justice, no peace is what they're chanting. You can hear them now. We can still go in here. Well, let's go.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. We ain't got nothing to say. Change, people. There should never have been a change of venue. No justice. There should never have been a change of venue. And as a result, this is what you have. This is what you have. There's no Crips down here. There's no Bloods down here. There's just concerned citizens down here that don't like the way the system is done. This is what we're talking about.
Could you tell me, sir, could you tell me? Could you tell me?
The police are closing in. They're trying to surround us.
Okay, they're off.
No justice.
You did that, they cut us.
Huh?
They cut us when you did that. No justice, no peace.
The voiceless scenes from South Central L.A., where nearly 50% of the children live in poverty, was contextualized by the $600,000 a year TV news anchors.
As the looting goes on in a senseless fashion, people arguing for sanity on the one hand, simultaneous looting in a random fashion for things that people can't even use.
25 years ago, the media's coverage of the riots in the Watts area of Los Angeles was called racially divisive by the federally empowered Kerner Commission. The commission was formed in order to find the root causes of the urban violence of the late 1960s. It found that one cause was the massive economic collapse and poverty of the cities. The other was the media. The Kerner Commission found the media guilty of failing to communicate to all ethnic groups the complex and fundamental problems of race relations. This LA news anchor made these comments moments before reporting the verdict in the second LAPD beating trial of Rodney King.
Okay, I'm standing by, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have shit to say. We don't have anything to do. But by God, the management of this company deems it necessary that I come on the air in the morning and shock the shit out of all of you.
In just half an hour from now, the jury in the federal Rodney King beating trial will be back in session.
The Kerner Commission said media's failure to communicate was caused in part by the media's shockingly backward hiring practices. Hardly any people of color worked as TV news directors, the people who set policy and make decisions. Television responded to the criticism by hiring cameramen, clerks, and makeup artists that were African American, Latino, and Asian American. For each of these ethnic groups, the number of TV news directors is a few percentage points above zero since the Kerner Commission's verdict 25 years ago.
You announced that they get rid of their gate tomorrow, and they'll stop tomorrow. You announced that.
As the networks covered over the voices from L.A., the candidates told the story of their own.
I felt anger. I felt pain. I thought, how can I explain this to my grandchildren?
His was very effective.
Yeah. What?
Bush's story was great.
No, and also when he talked about talking about Barbara and the kids. About
How to explain this to my grandchildren was great.
And given the fact that this is a presidential election year, it's also a challenge to the man who would challenge the president for the country's leadership.
But if you can really tell one good story about you.
So to speak.
You see?
Of course, everyone knows the old rhyme. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. We know his voyage took him to the New World, and his arrival changed the world forever. But beyond that, much about Columbus remains the subject of some dispute.
During the celebration of the 500th anniversary of Columbus's discovery of the Americas, the only satellite feed I found with a Native American guest was this feed to a local morning talk show. The guest is a historian and a member of the Cherokee Nation.
As you said, he presided over death of 250,000 people. No, that wasn't at his own hand. That was others who followed him and disease and that sort of thing. But he couldn't control.
No, I'm talking about like his first 2 years here, 250,000. It's pretty well documented. He took his interpreters. He took his guides as slaves. He chopped off the hands of anyone over 14, any male over 14 who couldn't bring him gold. He took women as sex slaves for his men.
Dr. Mattei, I want to thank you very much for coming by. Thanks for spending some time with us this morning on the Good Morning Show.
You're welcome. That was brief.
Okay. Hopefully painless, sir.
The painful lessons of Columbus's past were never mentioned as the networks debated his legacy.
Interesting debate. I'm not sure we settled it this morning, but we appreciate trying. That's true. Thank you both.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more of our special edition of Today on Governor's Island right after this.
What did he say that made any sense? Anything?
They just, think that he ruined the paradise and had no respect for nature and treated the Indians like dog do and...
What the hell does he know?
1 minute. Okay.
So to speak.
You see? You see? Forward.
I think I'm pregnant.
The woman on the screen is Murphy Brown, a fictional TV sitcom character.
Doesn't help matters when primetime TV has Murphy Brown.
He is talking about you.
Epitomizes today's intelligent, highly paid...
Vice President Dan Quayle blamed the LA riots on its citizens' lack of family values, instilled in part by the Murphy Brown TV character. He said it was not economic poverty, but rather a poverty of values promoted by the Brown character, which caused the burning of L.A.
Highly paid professional woman, mocking the importance of fathers by bearing a child alone and calling it just another lifestyle choice.
Politicizing sexuality was not new to Washington.
I'm an executive producer. I'll just executive produce this baby.
Sexual politics helped Ronald Reagan reach the White House and gave birth to the new religious right. After the Republicans lost the presidency to Jimmy Carter, some conservatives theorized if the Republican Party would oppose abortion, they could split the strong Catholic voting bloc of the Democrats and elect a Reagan and Bush ticket to the White House. As a senator, George Bush was against outlawing abortion. But as Reagan's vice presidential running mate, Bush changed his position and supported a ban on abortion.
Well, you haven't
given us any specificity about where you stand on it, Senator. In the past, particularly in the House of Representatives, you voted against federal funding for abortions, and that meant for poor women.
In some circumstances.
Well, tell us the circumstances, please.
All right. The circumstances debated have involved rape and incest and life, where the life of the mother is in jeopardy.
As a congressman, Al Gore voted against using federal funds for abortion. But as a vice presidential candidate, he changed his position and supported using federal funds for abortion as part of the Clinton health care plan.
That's what freedom is all about. That's what tolerance is all about. That's what our country stands for.
Well, I'm still confused. I'll try one more time. When you voted against federal funding for abortions, except under the three circumstances you outlined, had your vote carried the day, you would have imposed your belief on poor women in this country.
There was no and there is no national health insurance program today. We do not have the kind of comprehensive coverage.
After the abortion questions, Gore's media advisor tells him how to turn around or spin the A question.
But don't be afraid to turn the question. If they ask about A, just say, listen, Sam, I want to talk about, you want to find out. I want to talk today about, and then direction
Okay.
And the president of the Christian Broadcasting Network, Mr. Pat Robertson.
The 1992 Republican National Platform called for a complete ban on abortion. Nearly 30% of the platform committee was controlled by the Christian Coalition and its president, Pat Robertson. The goal of Robertson's Christian Coalition is to gain working control of the Republican Party by 1996.
I have 2 television networks. I have 3 radio news networks. I'm starting Standard News. I have 50 reporters right now working for me that are very fine.
Robertson's reporters work for his Christian Broadcasting Network, or CBN. Through the 700 Club, CBN News reports reach over 43 million homes in the U.S.
Operation Rescue has targeted 5 abortion clinics in Buffalo for a minimum of 2 weeks of activities aimed at shutting the facilities down.
In 1992, Operation Rescue was a top news story for CBN.
A battle both sides vow to win. Andrea Francis, CBN News.
On the first day of the Republican National Convention, Operation Rescue broke through this line of clinic defenders and blockaded an abortion clinic near the convention site. That same day, Robertson had this discussion with a CBN staff person.
I have sent word to keep that Operation Rescue. I don't want one word on this program that's supposed to be about Operation Rescue.
Well, we're not. We're not.
I don't want to cover it. I don't want to talk about it. And I want you to do it.
That same morning, Republicans who supported women's right to choose an abortion held a rally in Houston led by Ann Stone.
And Stone, I mean, we felt like we should cover it as in.
Don't cover anything about the abortion debate any longer. It doesn't matter. They passed the platform. You need to get cameras covering our rally, our God.
Oh, we're there. We're going to be there.
And
does it start?
And then you need cameras
it's crunch
shooting
time for President George Bush
or me sitting in the vice president's spot. Various things.
But we can have see this.
Both.
Both.
Okay. 5 minutes before.
But I believe in objective news. I believe in balanced news. I don't want to slant the news. I just want to tell it like it is.
How many camera crews do we have?
We have 2 here.
You get 2 reporters, and you stick those cameras in face anybody you want to, and start asking questions.
Hey, Luke.
Ask a tough question.
I let them know right now we haven't seen you.
I mean, get out there. Don't even say who you're from.
He doesn't show them. We'll just go from there.
What do you think is the president of Texas? You think this thing in the Persian Gulf, there might be a military gimmick? You think that's election? I mean,
Pat will discuss with them.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the camera right in their face. Senator, go up and ask you a question. Boom.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
We think we want to play hardball. We play hardball.
I'm not sure at that point there's going to make a whole lot.
Televangelists play some of their hardest ball at the expense of the gay community by using the AIDS crisis.
152, 796. It was a squeaker, but we made it. And the totals are going.
By 1985, viewers were giving an estimated $100 million a year to Robertson's TV program. When televangelist Jim Bakker was sent to prison for mail fraud, and Jimmy Swaggart was caught with a prostitute, viewer donations to televangelism plummeted.
A lot of broadcasters are gone. Some needed to, some it was financial pressure.
Televangelist Jerry Falwell's ministry was nearly bankrupt. Then he sent out a fundraising letter which claimed AIDS-infected homosexuals were purposefully infecting citizens by knowingly giving their AIDS-infected blood to blood banks. In the fundraising letter, Falwell said, quote, "They know they are going to die, and they are going to take as many people with them as they can," unquote. His ministry was revived.
"75 years ago, a plague descended upon the world and covered the nations of Eastern Europe like a dark cloud. But ladies and gentlemen, a more benign but equally insidious plague has fastened itself upon the families of America."
At the Republican National Convention, Robertson characterized communism and government bureaucracies as plagues, a thinly veiled reference to the AIDS crisis. Robertson supports the theory that gays have conspired with other supposedly subversive agents in order to undermine the nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the carrier of this plague is the Democrat Party.
That Republican convention was one of the most hateful things. I'm a Republican, but I'll tell you what, Pat Robertson personally was one of the reasons why I voted against George Bush.
Okay, now, Pat, he's saying you would not let a pro-choice person chair your party, or you would try to stop it.
He just contradicted what I just said. I'm sitting here in this chair telling you something different, and he said I won't do. How does he know what I'll do? I think if he obviously didn't hear my speech at the convention, because it closed with a beautiful story of a lovely lady holding a little starving child in her arm, and it was a call for a better world and one nation under God. I can't see how anybody said that was hateful. I don't know where he's coming from, but there's something there that is not just on the surface, I think, because I didn't say the things he said I did.
We'll be right back with Pat Robertson and Lynn Martin and more of your phone calls on Larry King Live, then Tina Sinatra. Don't go away.
That guy was on the wall. Yeah, sure alive. Eating the gravel. Something like that. You take the one sentence, turn it around, completely another issue. Remember, you're answering the questions. Okay. You can talk about anything you want to.
Yeah. What's that?
Did you get a good question?
No.
This last one is.
The last one, I didn't get it.
I said, who in the heck is screening these calls? I've had one person call him a bigot. I've had another person call him a zealot. Let's get some balance out there. Well, the last one.
It's too late. The last one's okay, but the first three were all homosexual.
I know.
I've had this before.
You can answer the question any way you choose to.
I hear you.
All right? Remember, so take it where you want it to go. Take it where you want it to go. I don't like the producer of this segment.
Well, they were trying to set me up.
That's what they told me. And that's what the Harris people told me.
Did they accomplish it, or have I come back on?
No, I think you're fine. I think that I'm just very upset.
Yeah. Well.
You hasn't come across on your face as being angry.
Oh, no, I'm not angry. Who's angry?
You look good.
Well, thank you.
Your piece of
I think they'll be out of here in about another. I hear you. You're right.
So to speak.
PC. Forward.
Get on.
PC. Join. Forward.
According to research and polls on the 1992 election, the information source which Americans valued more than TV news and TV talk shows was the presidential debates.
And this would mean that there would be 4 televised presidential debates, more than ever held in any presidential election. And if Governor Clinton is serious about debating, he will accept this challenge, and he will instruct his campaign officials to meet promptly with my campaign officials to work out the details directly between the parties. Let's get it on.
Bill, baby, let's do it. Get it on, as we say.
Let's get up there and get it on, side by side.
Sunday night, Mr. Bush is going to go on Larry King Live. So what I think is Larry King ought to have us both on there and let the American people call their questions in. That's what we ought to do. Then we get the best of both worlds, one moderator and millions of questioners. I think it would really be a great thing. So I've asked our people to contact Larry King and see if we can arrange it. I'm ready to go. Let's get it on.
Hi, Tom, can you hear me?
Yeah.
They've just confirmed both sides. They're meeting at 8 o'clock tonight.
Okay.
I think it's at Mickey's office. Malik, Teeter, Darman will attend for the president, and they have turned down Larry King, so I've rewritten my live lead.
After Bush turned down Larry King's show as the site of the first presidential debate, the debate over who would be moderator of the debates continued, as seen in these satellite feeds recorded over a 10-day period.
Al looks great.
You saw where he proposed you as the moderator of the debates.
Who?
What didn't we? I think we did.
Yeah.
When
Hope so.
well, when he was going, when the president was going to be on
I'd
the
be
show.
happy to be at it.
That shocks me.
I think they'd. I think I'd be a fair moderator. You'd get a very fair.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm the fairest person, I think.
I'll let you know.
Right out. You're doing great. I will tell you. I'll be the first to tell you. Did they pick the journalists today for St. Louis? Mm-hmm. Did they pick the reporters?
Not yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I did what I told you.
Thanks.
And I still think, you know, there's a lot of narrative there.
Who's on Sunday night? Do we know yet?
No, the moderator? I don't think so. We know yet. No, it hadn't been chosen.
But you have input, they have input, Pro has input.
That's correct.
Right up my alley. That stuff's right up my alley. No one would get it in the edge.
What's that?
Be fair. You'll sit best in the debates because you don't come with any baggage. You could elevate it. Every time we talk about something silly, you say, come on. What are we wasting time? To me, you sit very effective. You could have a great effect on this.
Just let's go get it on.
Get it on, so to speak.
King was never chosen as the moderator of the debates.
Good evening and welcome to the second of 3 presidential debates between the major candidates for President of the United States. So, President Bush, I think you said it earlier, let's get it on.
Good morning. The latest presidential polls show President Bush is closing in on Bill Clinton in the final week before the election. One poll shows the 2 candidates are almost even. A CNN USA Today poll shows Clinton and Bush virtually deadlocked.
4 days before the election, George Bush made his final appearance as president on Larry King's show.
What a night, what a finish. What a year for me. Huh? A year for me has been unbelievable. Changed the world.
It's different.
CNN poll today?
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Strangest year in the history of man. I hear you, Tom.
Tell me about it.
What?
Tell me about it.
Hold on.
God, I got a darn cold.
Got a cold?
Fever.
Some of my brothers in the drug business. Hold on one second.
Light cold.
Thanks, Patrick. Right ahead, a historic evening. 90-minute special, Larry King Live, with the President of the United States and your phone calls. It's next from Racine, Wisconsin. Don't go away. My brother's in the pharmaceutical business. He says there's a new pill coming from Israel, better than housing.
You mean for sleeping or decongestant? Great.
So to speak.
PC. Forward. PC. Doing. Forward.
We're back. It's now shortly after 9 o'clock in the east. Polls are still open in the west, of course, in the mountain time zone as well. Here's a winner in the Rocky Mountain states. Colorado, 8 electoral votes. Perot was a big factor, taking away...
3 years after Bush's defeat, the Christian Coalition tripled its active membership to 1.5 million members.
Clinton's taken New Mexico, according to them.
Its annual budget has more than doubled, and the coalition holds virtual veto power over the Republican nominee for president in 1996.
Rhode Island. Delaware.
Mr. Roberts, would you like to reorganize the Republican Party around the Christian tenets that you hold so dear?
I would like to see a winning coalition like Ronald Reagan had. I think we've got to get economic conservatives together with social conservatives and some who are foreign policy advocates of the foreign policy initiatives that we've seen very successfully over the last 10 or 12 years, and to put together that coalition. And I think that the last thing we need is recrimination and finger pointing and that sort of thing. It's good. The Republican Party will probably have a splendid opportunity if we have some economic collapse in the next 2 or 3 years to come back strong in 96.
Pat Robertson, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Frank Gumble?
Tom, that's the closest we've seen to the start of what might be a round of finger pointing. How much of it do you think we are going to see?
Well, I think that the Pat Robertson movement, and he's not the only one who's involved in it, is very important and to some Republicans a little terrifying right now because they're very well organized.
He says we're very important and very well organized in county by county. Yes, the new religious right. They'll organize out of sight of the conventional machinery and then go out and win.
PC. Forward. PC. Doing. Forward.
It was reported after the election that the Clinton White House uses the Department of Defense to intercept satellite TV feeds on a regular basis. This monitoring practice started during the 1992 election, as Al Gore's wife, Tipper, found out during the campaign.
Everyone's watching on Little Rock.
Okay. They're watching these satellite feeds?
Oh yeah, we can, you know, that we pull it whenever any of you all do a satellite tour. They pull it down on Little Rock on all the monitors and the whole headquarters.
Just the actual interviews, not this part.
The Clinton campaign also intercepted the satellite feeds of the TV network news. Clinton strategists would watch the network's satellite feed of a network news story about Clinton. This would give the strategists the ability to respond to the story before it ever aired on regular network television.
Clearly, this goal is almost within reach. Clinton's trying to lift his sights beyond the attack politics.
4 years.
Feeling that his goal is almost within reach, Clinton is now trying to lift his sights beyond the attack politics of the campaign.
Clinton also monitored the satellite feeds of his opponents. According to the American Journalism Review, the Clinton campaign intercepted the satellite feed of a Bush commercial 36 hours before the commercial aired on network television.
But here's what Clinton economics could mean to you. $1,088 more in taxes. $2,072 more in taxes.
By intercepting the feed, Clinton strategists had the ability to respond to Bush's ad before the ad had ever aired.
4 years ago, he asked you to believe him.
Read my lips.
Now he's asking you to believe his attacks against Bill Clinton.
I need to get the big banner on the PVC. I need to use it at school to flush out the Bush Quail sign, say abortion, right in the corner there. You copy it?
This is a satellite feed of a Clinton rally. The person you just heard speaking was probably one of Clinton's security team standing near an open microphone on the stage. The instructions he was giving may have come from Clinton's staff in Little Rock, which regularly monitored the feeds of Clinton's rallies.
Don't point. I know. There's somebody who ripped that Dodger sign in half with a pencil. Somebody's going to go up. Go bar to there. They're going to get a fist fight to do it. That abortion is going to kill us too. We can't block everything.
Little Rock would watch the satellite feed of the Clinton camera slowly panning the audience like a surveillance camera. If they saw a protester at the public event, Little Rock could call the rally site to alert security.
But whenever we do a live satellite feed of like a big rally or something, there was a really very interesting instance. The Buffalo rally, there were some protesters. And Little Rock saw it where the advanced people couldn't because they were backstage. So the desk, Dwight and those guys called the advanced people on the cell and said, no, walk 10 feet to the left. There's a sign and the camera shot there. Edge that guy over. I mean, so it's like Little Rock directed Buffalo and watched it dismantle on television. They watched the dismantling of a problem.
Right.
And they, you know, where the advanced person is in a sea of 2,000 people, Little Rock was able to say, move to, I can see you on TV. Now go 2 people over to your left. It was really very fascinating. High tech.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's why when they said there are shadows in your face, that was Little Rock calling, saying there are shadows on your face.
Oh.
See, everybody watches